Welcome back to another episode of New Cow Corner, guys. Glad to have you here. We have another amazing guest, my personal friend of mine, Chris from Jungle House. We're going to dive into all types of stuff today. Yes, the name of the podcast is New Cow Corner, but as you guys know that have been at least following for a while, we do not shy away from other species. We are reptile enthusiasts. We are gecko enthusiasts. We talk and love and have a passion for just about everything with or without legs and scales. Couple announcements before I get started here. Guys, Daytona is coming up. The Daytona Reptile Show is coming up. If you have any awesome geckos and you guys are not aware of David's Gold Standard Gecko Club, they will be running another tournament / competition this coming August 15th and 16th. Don't quote me on that, but something around there, that weekend of August at the Daytona Reptile Show. Now, I understand a lot of people don't have the means to get an animal there. Some people are having issues funding it. Guys, if you have an issue, first of all, if you have an animal that's worthy, if you have an animal that you think is a freaking smoke show, not literal smoke show, but maybe a smoke show contender. If you have a phenomenal animal that you think the world needs to see and you want to get your animal down to this tournament, reach out to me. Let me know if I got to pay for the funding, if I have to arrange the shipping, if I have to find someone down there that will submit the animal for you. We will do all that. The point of this is to, one, show the importance and build the following of this organization, and two, get smaller guys out there making incredible animals the recognition they deserve. I say it all the time. It's not these big guys with these big names that are making these freaking killer animals, man, which they are. But there's plenty of smaller breeders out there that have fractions of what they have in animals making insane animals. And you guys deserve some type of recognition. You guys deserve credit for that. So, again, we did a live. Check it out. YouTube, iTunes, iHeart, Amazon, all those good places. New Cow Corner. Listen to the episode that we did, David and I, on the Gold Standard Gecko Club, and listen to it. Listen to all the information there. Listen to the facts. Listen to all of the registration details. And if you need me in my assistance, my help, by any means, reach out. Let's get into this. Also, Monster Box Enclosures. All of these podcasts are now brought to you guys by Monster Box Enclosures. If you're looking for acrylic enclosures, if you're looking for PVC enclosures, if you're looking for terrestrial enclosures, if you're looking for arboreal enclosures, and you're looking to not spend $1 million, head over to www.monsterbox.us. Check out our full lineups. We sell racks. We sell just about everything you need for a larger reptile collection. And we appreciate the support and show our guests some love, guys. If you're not familiar with someone we have on the show, it's a chance for you guys to expand your circle. Reach out to someone awesome, check out some of the cool stuff they're working with, and show them some love, because 90% of the guests I have on here would do the same for you. Now, without any further ado, let's get my buddy Chris over here, man, and from Jungle House. I can't spell it off the top of my head, but he will explain, but it is Jungle House, I promise you that. Brother, talk to me, kid. Talk to me.
How's it going?
Where are you from? What do you do? Your business? Tell us about you. Elevator pitch. Hit it.
Well, so I'm Chris with Jungle House. As you know, we're both from the same town.
We are indeed.
Yeah, so I mostly work with smaller geckos, small/micro geckos. It is fitting for the podcast. I do work with new cows. Yuri's is
we're gonna talk about
the main genus of new cows that I'm working with, and then a lot of oddball, smaller geckos. A lot of stuff that's considered, I guess, like throwaway species a lot of the times, that are a lot of like wild caught imported stuff that working to captive breed, that kind of stuff. That, and then lots of like stuff like behind me, bioactive enclosures, keeping stuff at like a decently high standard.
Nice. Love it. And he does, guys. Check out his page. Check out what he does. He's got awesome TikTok following. He's on all platforms, but his TikTok presence is beautiful, for lack of any other better words. It's amazing what he does.
Yeah, for some reason it does better than Instagram.
Yeah. It's have you been on there longer?
No,
Really?
I
Interesting.
started the TikTok like a year ago, and it's like
No shit. 'Cause it
triple
does
what
fit
Instagram is.
that platform better. I don't know how to explain that notion.
Yeah,
Certain
the
content
brain
fits
rot
certain platforms
content.
better. It fits the TikTok platform well. Um, how did you get into this, bro? How did you? I don't even think I personally know that my damn self. How did you get into reptiles?
Um, I mean, I guess like most people, like you know, dinosaur kids, the Animal Planet, Discovery Channel,
Oh
like
yeah,
all that kind of shit. I think most people it's like that same start of like as a kid. And then like I as a kid I was always like around animals. So my parents are both from Spain. Um, so in the summers I'd go back, be on the farm, cows, sheep,
beautiful.
horses, all that kind of stuff. Um, and then as a kid here too, so I had a frog when I was younger, and then we had there was like a green tree frog, not the best of care. I was like elementary school. It got out, was lost for like 3 weeks. We found it on like the back porch, and then my mom's like, "Yeah, we're getting rid of it because
Oh,
in case it escapes again." Um, and then we also bred parakeets for a little bit, just for fun, not
that's cool.
selling them or anything. We just had pet parakeets,
Very
gave
cool.
them like a nest box, and had a bunch of babies.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I mean, I've always been interested in animals and all that, and then I'd say it was like right after COVID is when kind of started getting really into like acquiring different reptiles and sparked the real interest that obviously snowballed into a lot of them.
Sweet. Good for you, man. So, is that right around when you established Jungle House? Is that when you said, "Listen, I'm not keeping and collecting anymore. I want a brand. I want a recognizable brand." Because guys, Chris sells, he vends, he is on the move, man. This kid was at Tinley. This kid gets around, guys. He is in the circuit. I mean, that's so. When did you? And always invites me also, guys. Chris is a huge help. If you ever watch any of my Palm Streets, that second set of hands, that's always Chris. When did you realize you had a brand? You had a marketable hobby? Was that all around the same time?
So when I started like picking up like pairs of animals and like planning that like I kind of want to breed these, I knew that at some point I'm gonna need an outlet for the babies. Um, Obviously at first I don't have that many, but I think it was important to um, kind of like establish something
Hmm.
instead of scrambling later on to figure out a way to shit. What do I do with all these animals?
Yeah,
So,
very
I
smart.
mean, I think it's an important thing to have an idea of what you're going to do once the babies start hatching.
You
Because
wish
some
you wish
species,
more people in the crested gecko understood in the world understood that, man. People will start collecting animals, and it's like one day they have a pair, and then in a week they have like 60 pairs, and I'm like, what are you gonna do with all the babies? Like, what I got 12 pairs, and I don't have the room to keep the babies they produce in a season. What do you? And I'm not judging. I'm just asking, what are you doing with them all? How you selling them? How you housing them? What are you doing with the probably 300 babies you're going to make from that many animals? So that's an extremely valid point is what I'm getting at, is that is very wise of you to think of that before you get there. Most think of it after.
yeah, I mean, it also depends like what species you're getting into. Because some of them, like, they reproduce like rabbits, where it's
Yeah,
like, you know,
sure, sure.
you're having eggs every 10 days. They're laying eggs. You need to have an outlet of like, what are you going to do with all these
Very
animals?
wise, very wise.
Some is like you might get a couple clutches a year that you can manage, but like some of them are prolific. So like you do have to have like a some sort of plan for what you're going to do with essentially hundreds of babies at some point.
Very wise. So now let's well, I mean, you know me, I'm all over the place. When did you realize? Because guys, again, check out Chris's page. His enclosures and his husbandry style is nothing but admirable. Let's just say that it's his standards are high, and I'm not bashing anyone who uses bins. It's not what I'm here to do, but I do find it extremely important to recognize one's techniques, I guess. And yeah, that's a story for another day. But Chris does some amazing things with his husbandry and how he keeps his animals. And let's talk about that a little bit. When you started collecting these animals, was it always on your list of priorities to house your animals the way you do? Were you always like, listen, I'm not settling for anything other than naturalistic enclosures? Like, I mean, Chris builds enclosures that mimic the individual species environment. They're not just like enclosures with plants. Like Chris builds mini ecosystems, mini environments, mini like you could walk into whatever forest or desert these species are from, and he'll build an enclosure that looks like a chunk out of whatever set environment, and it's mind blowing. Honestly, mind blowing. When did you do? Was that all part of it, or did you keep them and fail and say, "Hey, listen, this isn't working. I got to do this"? How did this? How did your enclosure setup style thing happen?
Yeah, so I mean, pretty early, I mean, one of the things that did get me into it too was the like building the enclosures.
A lot of people do.
Um, yeah, I find it to be like a nice like creative outlet
Hell yeah.
to put together a nice enclosure,
Hell yeah.
and then the animal's like the last part of it. Like you build
Like a
something really
ball
nice,
time. It's like a fish
and
tank.
then you put
Fish
the
tank.
animal in.
Huh?
And I mean, walking into the room, yeah, it's like really crowded, full of enclosures, shelves. Sometimes it's a mess, but being able to see a nice enclosure is a lot more pleasing on the eyes than looking at a wall of bins.
Sure.
And like I have stuff in some, like I raise babies in bins for some of these geckos because they're so
Yeah,
small
sure, sure.
that
They have their reasons.
they'll
I don't mean to, for
they'll
anyone
get
out there
lost.
listening, I don't
Yeah,
mean to bash anyone for bins. Bins, by any means, I always say this. I use bins. They have their place. But as far as an animal's whole life, and again, I'm still not judging. I'm just saying they are absolutely a very important tool in this hobby in general. Bins, so
no, I mean, they have a use. It's a lot easier to raise babies in them. Um, but if you're breeding, adult geckos, they're the ones that are, giving you money for if you're selling the babies for, continuing to get more animals. You know, some people they're paying your bills. Give them, a little more than a bin. That's just my way of thinking of it. Is they're producing babies for you. Give them, a nice life, like
I
or as
agree.
best as you can. Um, like I've seen your stuff too. You have all your breeders are in beautiful enclosures, but bins do have a purpose, and anybody that keeps in bins, there's nothing wrong with it. Um, like I a lot of these babies, it's a 1 inch baby gecko. It's gonna get lost in even in like one of these 12, 18s.
Sure, sure, sure.
That baby's gonna get lost in there.
And that's where the bins are important. They're great for raising and observing, quick, easy access to things. So for babies, yes, they're perfect. My beef comes in when you have a breeding pair of adult something in a 6-quart bin. It's I'm just like, you can do so much better, right? Like there's no reason to have breeding pairs of anything in a 6-quart bin and stacks of them at that. Like it's just not necessary. It's like on just better ways.
Yeah, I mean, I recently put up a video of building a bad bioactive on Instagram. And for some reason, I don't know if you've seen it. For some
No,
reason, it's my best video on Instagram,
really.
and it
No,
is
my
basically
girl's
what
been
not.
down here all week, so I've been, on vacations. I haven't been on social media much, which I
It was
should, but
it's my best performing video on Instagram, and it's like
awesome.
essentially making fun of what not to do.
We'll bring it up. We'll get it on here. We can do a screen share.
Yeah, it's pretty funny that that's the best performing video I have on there. It's not one building a nice one. It's building a shitty one.
Go figure. So, and you also build them and sell them too, right? At the shows,
Yeah.
guys. Chris offers,
Yeah.
you know, so you don't even have to like worry about doing it properly. He does it and doesn't charge an arm and a leg. I mean, sometimes I've even asked him, like, how do you even do that? I can't build them. I have an enclosure company. I can't build them for the price he sells them for. I you know, but you guys would be wise to take advantage of it if you're nervous about doing it right, man. Chris offers them.
Yeah, I mean, the first time you do it, you're definitely going to spend more money than you're expecting because you're gonna mess up. Like my first one sucked. Like I'm be honest, they weren't as good as what I'm doing now. But you know, it is a learning process of like trying things. You know, oh that didn't work because you're working with different materials that you're not used to working with. Like it's the same thing if you're like someone that paints or something. If you're used to you're used to like watercolors. Now you're
Sure.
using acrylic, it's not the same thing.
Sure.
You're building these with like insulation foam, spray foam. That's not materials that like someone's used to working with. Unless you're working like, construction jobs doing insulation work. A lot of these materials like you've never used.
Yeah.
So like there is a learning curve to it, and the more like if you're nervous, the more you practice and the more you build them, like the better they get. So like your first version of an enclosure doesn't have to be like the forever home. Like you can go back and rework it, and get a new enclosure and try it again, and it's going to get better the more times you do it. And then you also learn like what plants work better, lighting, all sorts of different stuff, and it progressively um, gets better the more essentially you practice making them.
Sure. Yeah, like anything else, practice, 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 practice. Makes for perfection, I guess, right? That's awesome. So what? Real quick, so before we keep going, and people are probably wondering, what are some of those species you keep? What are the names of some of the things? You said the Uris, but what else? What are you keeping?
So I tried to make a list. I probably forgot something. I think I'm at like 21 species right now
Shit.
of gecko, and I think it was 25 overall. Like because I have a couple skinks and
Okay.
some lizards and stuff too. But yeah, the three species of Uris, EA, EO, EV. Then sand geckos. So I have two species, the two common species of Tropiocolotes. So Tropiocolotes tropitanus, Tropiocolotes studneri, Stenodactylus. Just recently got some Stenodactylus petrii just to try that. Let's see if they do any better than the stenos.
Those are popular. They're pretty damn popular.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Well, we can get into it after. I think that the Tropiocolotes are better sand geckos than the Stenodactylus. Also some day geckos. Things like 3 or 4 species of day geckos. Fish scale geckos. What else? Viper geckos, binos geckos. Stropherus ciliaris. Pachydanctus fasciatus. A lot of desert species for the most part. Yeah, there's probably some I missed there. And then what's it? The wedge snout skinks and Lipinia, the yellow striped skinks.
Nice.
Which those I'm actually enjoying a lot right now. They're pretty cool.
People that keep skinks, some of the smaller species of skinks really do. They really do enjoy them. I hear they're super
cool.
personable animals. Yeah, I've never heard a bad thing about anyone that's ever kept any type of skink, if I'm being honest. I've always heard great things about them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying how, because a lot of my stuff too is nocturnal other than day geckos. Like most of the stuff is, nocturnal or like semi-nocturnal, like crepuscular kind of animals. So like they're out all day, like running around. You throw food in there, they're zipping across the enclosure. So it's something a little bit different to compare to everything that's nocturnal.
Sure. Cool. That's awesome. Do you find it hard to manage your collection and your room? Do you keep all these species, the desert species and the jungle species, in the same room?
So for the most part, yeah. Like this corner, like area that I'm in right now, this is the Yuri corner. Except for the one right above my head is the neon day geckos. But yeah, the wall behind me and the wall on the side of me, that's Yuri's. Then mostly all the other walls are like desert stuff.
So you have them
Uh,
kind of apart, kind
yeah,
of. So.
yeah, yeah. So the Yuris are in one corner, everything else is on the other, like the other sides.
And you running heat lamps and heat mats, or how are your elements on the other side? Do you find that it sucks the humidity out of your jungle enclosure?
Um, Not really. I mean, I spray. These guys get sprayed down every day, basically once a day. The other stuff, a lot of it is like they get sprayed like 2 to 3 times a week. Um, but those also, as soon as I spray those, they're so hot that like
Yeah,
it basically just everything evaporates. So it boosts the humidity of the entire room.
sure, sure.
Um, and this room runs hot. Like I think it was like 83 today. Um, and I have the AC running, so
Really?
I'm using the AC just to keep it at 83 for these guys. Because I mean they'll tolerate, like, that's another misconception. A lot of these animals tolerate way more heat than people give them credit for.
We've talked about it. Yeah, man. My
Yeah,
room has hit 100. I don't know how many times, but I never lost an animal, man. You guys are nuts, man. Never lost an animal. I just watched a really, really, which is sad, kind of hurt my heart because I really like these guys. And obviously, I'm not going to name names, but they put a post out talking about how, or a video rather, with one of the how to keep your animals alive, and one of the, all the top mistakes people make. And they're sitting there saying, never let your new cow geckos get over 72 degrees. And I'm
it's
like,
crazy.
damn, man, I really, I like you guys. I've had them on the podcast, but I'm like, in my head, I'm like trying to justify how you could say that, because I mean, that's just terrible information. Now, I guess it's kind of like a pet store pamphlet. Like, you just want to suggest survivable information and methods. Like I'm just telling you what you need to know as a beginner to keep your stuff alive. And then, sure, 72 degrees is fine. Like that will keep your animals alive and not cook. Now, I'm not suggesting everybody takes their animals into 80 anything. I've been doing this for 8-9 years with these species, let alone reptiles, I've been dealing with for 42 years. But these species, like I said, man, I've had that room over 100 degrees, man, and I never lost an
This
animal.
room's been at 95.
So I'm saying I've never lost an animal. I
Um,
do believe, and I not even believe, I know that you need to have proper ventilation, proper air circulation, proper soil humidity and content. If it gets a buku hot, they're just going to bury themselves. They're going to find a corner in the moss, and they're going to dig down into the moss and bury themselves and make it through the heat of the day. And then nighttime comes and they'll be back out doing their thing, and they're just fine. As long as you have water, as long as you have air moving, they're not a closed in bin or a box with no holes in it, and it's X amount of degrees. If you do it properly, man, they don't listen. They couldn't live better than when they do when they're hot. These animals are different animals when they're at 80 to 85 degrees. They live like they're
yep.
supposed to. They're eating, they're moving, they're breeding, they're calling, they're doing everything. Now you see what an animal's supposed to do, And people keep them so cold and want to know why my animal sleeps all day. Well, if I put you in an AC room at 50 degrees in a blanket, what are you going to do all day? You know?
Yeah, I mean
Talking
the
about,
Yuris, they bask like a gravid female, because
sure,
I have them with UVB. They'll sit under the UVB 86 to 88 degrees. Like I've temp gunned it before, and they're
sure,
just sitting there. They're
sure,
choosing to be there. The
sure,
ground is 78. They're
sure.
choosing to be under the light.
They know how to thermal regulate, right? That's like what reptiles do. They get too hot, they cool down. They get too cool, they warm up. You need to provide that gradient for them in order for them to do that. One set temperature, I don't think for any reptile is okay. Nocturnal or crepuscular or animals that are awake during the day. I just I mean, all of these nocturnal species I keep. I got Sarahs, I got Leechies, I got Cressicos, I got gargoyle geckos, I got Uris, they all bask in the UV. And they all hide at certain times of the day. Now, there is those outliers of every species I have. Some are out all day, some hide all day. But collectively, they all come and go. They all go to the light and go back. They come, they go, they come, they go, they come, they go. And I've also noticed too is that in the animals I provide it to versus don't provide it to, because I do have sections of grow out animals that don't have lights and UV. They're just in clear enclosures and they use the ambient light in the room. They sleep a lot more than the animals that have the UV and the light bars. It's I don't think it's the debate's ever going to end, like people think, and I actually understand certain people's notion, like they're nocturnal animals. They don't need light.
I mean,
Maybe not UV. Maybe they don't necessarily need UV, but I mean, even as far as light cycles, day and night, like they kind of do. They kind of do need light of some sort, like.
yeah, I think it's very like with the new cows at least too. It's very species dependent. Like you have some species that they spend most of the day hiding in like a tree hollow. They probably don't need UVB as much as like a Yuri is hiding on the stick right in front of your face and you can't see it. It's hiding in the open.
So are
It's
gargoyles
benefiting from UVB. Yep. The species that are hiding in the open, they have good camouflage and just sitting
right?
on
That's
sticks.
what I'm saying. Camouflage. You would think, why would it be camouflaged if it was hiding all the time, right? Like some of these things do. Even lychees, bro. I've watched people in videos of people filming them out in the wild. They're clearly out in the daytime. They're just hunkered down, eyes pushed in on a freaking tree, looking like a lump on a tree, a piece of bark, They're definitely getting UV. Not every pair is a dominant male in a forest with a woman in a prime tree hollow. Some of the younger animals that are on the run looking for their place in the forest are hunkering down on tree bark during the day.
Yep. Yeah, I think a lot of the issues too with not just lighting but the temperature myths.
Yes.
I think a lot of it has to do with like if you're keeping on paper towel, yeah, they're gonna die if you get too hot. There's nowhere to hide.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
absolutely.
if you're keeping with soil, as long as you spray down the enclosure and there's moisture in the soil, they're not going to drop dead when you hit 90 degrees. Like
Not at
there's
all. Not
100%
at all.
not going to drop dead.
Not at all. And that's a
Like
valid point too. Thank you for correcting me and pointing that out too, guys. I don't mean like in any enclosure. When you keep your animals in a naturalistic enclosure, when you give them an environment, different layers of soil and substrates and wet corners and dry sides and gradients, that type of enclosure, they're fine at higher temperatures. I'm not saying in a bin with paper towels or a shoebox display with paper towels. You're not giving them anywhere to go. Like they can't, I'm not saying keep animals, or I would never allow my room to get over 100 degrees in that type of setup ever. But the way we keep our animals, these higher temperatures don't bother us. We give the animals the ability to use their natural instincts and hide versus to thermoregulate. We give them the ability to do that via the enclosures we provide.
yeah, I mean, and then you know, I'm. It sounds kind of crazy, but also like some of these desert species, like people are keeping them way too cold. I have some of these little sand geckos. They're like 2.5 inches big. The hot spot in the middle of summer in those enclosures, I've temp gunned it at like almost 130. The front of the enclosure is like 90, but the hot spot is like 130. Yeah, they're hiding on the like outskirts of that hot spot. They're not sitting under it, but they can tolerate up to that, like up into 120s easily.
Mm-hmm.
And in the winter, they can drop down into the 50s.
Mm.
Like they're from the desert. It's a place of extremes.
Sure,
Like
sure.
people that keep them at 95 to like 105 range. Like you can go hotter and colder. Like they can go much more extreme. I wouldn't recommend it as your first. Like when you first get them, don't go extreme. But you're definitely able. You definitely have wiggle room. You don't have to be perfect with your temperature, and you can work up to a bigger gradient of temperatures depending on the size of the enclosure.
I think a lot of those numbers we're referring to, though, in all honesty, the more I'm sitting here pondering it, they're just safe zones.
Yeah,
They're safe zones. But as you progress in your experience and knowledge pile up, you too will see what we're talking about. As far
Yeah,
as
definitely don't do it as your
beginning
first.
goes, yeah, you want to observe. A lot of this information we're giving comes with years of observation. Years of observation. You don't want to just do it because you could possibly come home to just a dead animal, and God forbid we don't want that or to be responsible for that. But pay attention to your animals, pay attention to your temperatures, pay attention to all of these things, and not just the animal. And you'll see.
Yeah, don't do it if it's your first gecko. Don't go to these crazy temperatures as your first gecko. That like 75 mark, stick around there. That's perfect if it's your first gecko. If it's a desert gecko, 95, stick around there. But you, if you're off by 5 degrees, it's not the end of the world, because some people also, you know, some people like hammer in like it has to be this exact temperature.
Cool temperatures too, bro, can be just as dangerous for an animal. Certain minerals and macronutrients and things are synthesized via lights and warmer environments. So keeping them at consistent cooler levels is probably a slower, worse death, if I'm being honest. I mean, some of the temperatures I see people keeping things at are just barely survivable numbers. You think they're brooming them year round, like it's
Yeah, I mean it's also some people have problems with breeding because they're too cold,
too
and
cold.
then they're wondering why they're only getting 4 eggs a year from a gecko. It's probably too cold. Um, you're not getting a full season because it's the wrong temperatures.
Yeah,
Um, it's I mean it's very species dependent with a lot of this stuff, but in general, I do think people do keep most animals slightly too cold.
sure. It's just a
Like,
safety thing, Joe. Just to be a.
yeah,
How do you manage all of these different gradients in your room, though, Chris? That's what I'm curious about. Is how do you manage all of those different zones? I mean, you got to be hands on all the time, huh? Or do you have it set
uh,
up so it just
so
works?
I
You
have
play in the room.
all the lights are on the Govy plugs. And then I have the what's it called, the thermometer,
Sure.
the Wi-Fi one. So
How do you like Govy, by the way?
I like them.
Sponsor us, guys. Sponsor us,
I
Govy.
I like them. This entire room is hooked up with them. I
Jason
like them.
Morrow from Ghouls and Geckos, good friend of mine, put me on to Govy years ago, and my life has been completely different since. Man, I got air sensor monitors, air purifiers, light timers. I got Govy everything, man. The hydrometers, thermometers. Uh, I praise Jason every day for that. Put me
Yeah,
on to Govy, man.
honestly, they're fantastic.
Man.
Like, you control everything from your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I set up the thermometer to throw the AC on. If it hits 83, the AC automatically comes on, even if I forget to turn it on. If it
So,
drops to, if I forget to turn it off, it gets to 69 at night. It automatically shuts off.
and it's affordable too, by the way.
Oh yeah, the plugs. What do you get? Like 4 plugs for like $30 or something like that.
High quality tech for very cheap, very reasonable. I shouldn't say cheap because I've seen cheaper, but
And then the thermometer is like another $30, like for the Wi-Fi one that you can essentially hook up all your plugs to. So you can also set it up to like kill the lights. So if it gets too hot, I can kill all the lights at the same time also. Um, which I had to do this year when we had the heat wave in
I
Connecticut.
was just gonna
We
say, have you had
It
to
was
do
that
that
random
yet?
heat
I
wave,
did. I did.
especially because all the I'm assuming your house too is window units for the AC. Yep. Yeah, the old Connecticut houses. So it's window units for the ACs. And I didn't have the AC in yet. It's like 90 degrees in this room. I had to, put all the fans on, kill all the lights. Um,
It happens. It is what it is.
but you can do it remote if you're not home.
Sure.
Go on your phone, knock out all the lights.
They should make an AC. I don't know why Govy doesn't. They make the purifiers, the humidifiers. They don't have an air conditioning unit, man. I need an air conditioner. I think they even make small space heaters, but I need an AC unit, Govy.
Yeah, I mean that would be an ideal
Just smart
Even
devices, smart. I'm sure they probably do have like a Wi-Fi enabled air conditioning unit, like a floor unit or something like that. It should be pretty cool. I'm gonna look into that.
yeah, it would be convenient.
But nonetheless, that's
Especially,
cool.
yeah, that's basically how I maintain the temperatures in here. It's you know it's a balance, especially because the Uris don't tolerate the same heat as everything else in the room.
Sure, sure.
Um, you know,
You have misters
it
on them, or you're spraying by hand?
nope, hand mist.
Spraying
I
by
like
hand.
seeing them. I
Me,
like seeing them.
me too.
It
I bought
I'm
them.
up
I have them
to
sitting here, and I don't use them because I'm like, that's me just being. And no offense to anyone that does, I understand. I'm like, I just not that it's not being lazy or whatever. I enjoy looking at them too. Like that's my time to observe everything. Like I want to, I got plants to look at. There's just so much more to look at that I get the time to do when I'm misting.
yeah. I mean, I'm up to I think like 50 or so Uris.
Pairs or just
No, no,
adults.
just pairs right now. There's 6 that are paired right now.
True.
There's a lot of grow outs. A lot of grow outs.
Nice.
Um,
I want to talk about them a little. However, I know you got so many other things that I want to bring some attention to, but I've never had a Yuri guest on the podcast. So we may have to have you come back and do an episode designated to the Yuris, bro. I've never had a Yuri guest, and I keep them, and I know nothing about them. Nothing other than what I've observed and what I have learned via that. I know nothing about these things. I know you know a lot. So I'd love to, we're going to talk about them today, obviously, guys, relax. But we're going to get Chris back and do a whole full-blown episode on just Urodactylodes.
yeah, I mean, they're my favorite new cow. They're the only new cow I keep right now.
Okay.
3 different species, but it's the same thing,
And
more
what
or
are
less.
those 3 again? I know you abbreviated them before. Give us the
So
full names and then the abbreviation, then the full name for people that.
yeah, so usually most people that deal with Urodactylodes go by EA, EO, EV, ES, the 4 species. So it's Urodactylodes agricolae, which is the most common one. That's my favorite also. I think they're the best ones. Um, then you have Urodactylodes velardi.
That's what I keep.
Yep. Then Urodactylodes occidentalis. And then the hardest one to breed and the most expensive is Urodactylodes symmetricus. So I have the 3 besides symmetricus.
I'm just writing those down. Agricolae, velardi, symmetricus, and what's the other ones?
Occidentalis.
Oxons. All right. What are the differences between them? What makes them
So
different? What did I'm assuming Bauer described them all?
I mean, most of it has to. I mean, there's people that are way more qualified to describe, like research paper differences kind of thing, because there are more trait differences. But the basics of like telling them apart is the nose scalation. So 2 of the species have smaller, irregular nose scales. So EA and EV have the smaller nose scales, and then EO, ES have larger nose scales. And then 2 of the species have the yellow in the mouth connects to the ear hole yellow. So it's like a full continuation from the slit in the mouth to the ear.
Well, they don't all have that, or they
No,
all
2 of the
don't have
species
yellow
do.
on their mouth.
They all have yellow in their mouth and they all have yellow in the ear. It's just 2 of the species it connects and 2 of it doesn't. So essentially, one like agricolae is small nose scales with a connected yellow, and velardi is small nose scales with a disconnected yellow.
Okay, you have agricolae. That's your favorite.
That's my favorite.
Okay.
I like. Yeah, they're by far the one I have the most of. I just think they have a little more personality in my opinion than like the 2 I have the most of is occidentalis and agricolae. Velardi I just have the 1 pair. Um, the agricolae I don't know. They have a personality that I like. I guess most like some of the adults like they come up to the front. They'll like pitter patter on the glass for water or food. The Occidentalis are hiding in the back more.
Okay.
Occidentalis do have nicer patterning, I guess. Like there's more I guess like variability, especially if you're like morph chasing and stuff like that. Occidentalis is where you probably want to look. Um, they have the melanistics. Uh, yeah, so Occidentalis is the one with like proper morph already. They're pretty cool if you haven't seen them. They're quite expensive,
I
but
think I have.
they're pretty awesome. They go from jet black with like black pupils to like translucent.
Really?
So like their fire up and fire down is like translucent to like jet black.
Is there any
Um,
size differences between all of these species, or any of these species
yeah.
larger than the others?
So Agricolae are pretty big. Occidentalis, I believe, is the smallest. They're all relatively the same size, and there's some variability. Um, but you know, most of them you're looking about like a finger-sized gecko. Um, I've seen some abnormally big ones, and then there's some that stay pretty small.
Now
So
I
there's
know
a
with
lot,
the
a lot of
Velarde,
variation.
there is some sexual dimorphism. The males are much smaller than the females. Is there sexual dimorphism with all of them? Are the males and the females visually different than each other?
Yeah, generally the males are smaller.
Okay.
I find a lot of times like the males almost like half the weight.
But no different
Um,
like colors or scalations
well,
in the
yeah,
males?
the males are usually more colorful. Like they
Okay.
have much nicer patterning generally. Females tend to be a little bit more like bland looking. Um, like some of the stuff I'm trying to do is produce nicer looking females. So females that keep a little bit more of the pattern. Um, the thing is like a lot of it also once you start breeding, some of it fades too. They don't fire up the same.
Sure.
Um, but the males tend to have nicer contrasts. Like the black. Some will have more black banding on them and stuff like that. Um, and then another thing too, a lot like to look for is like those reduced shoulder scales is kind of what I call it. I'm not sure how the best way to describe it. You've probably noticed it where the yellow pokes out in the armpit, like
Okay.
the yellowish orange.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
some will have more reduction of these scales there, and
Really?
more yellow or orange showing.
Okay.
Um,
You teach me,
and
bro. You're the only one I've ever learned
yeah,
anything from, really. Chris, when I tell you, I don't know a damn thing about them other than they're cool and I can keep them alive. Like they
and now you
seemingly
have a pair.
well, and yeah. And she's just laying eggs. Like it's. I mean, I definitely make my observations, and I mean, this podcast isn't about me or my shit, so we don't. I don't really want to get into that. But you're my go-to guy, man. You're the one that knows all about him, and I mean that's it's awesome. But I know nothing about any of these differences. I mean, the only ones I've ever seen are mine. Like I don't
Yeah, I mean they're not that common to see at shows either. There's usually
really.
a couple people have them, um, and mostly you'll only see like one species. Like
How
you
are they
know what
producing for you? Do you find that any of these species you keep outproduce the other, or are they all
uh,
similar in these ways?
Occidentalis Occidentalis is definitely more prolific.
Really?
They for me at least they tend to be very male heavy though.
Okay.
So
You think
I'm
that could be
sitting
an
on a
incubation thing? Have you tried anything with
I
incubation?
the thing is I incubate all of them room temp. Um, so I put them all outside this room in like a little cabinet. Um, kind of shield them from like cold or like hot spikes. Um, so yeah, they're just outside this room in the cabinet. I just leave them room temp. They're probably in the 70s most of the time. Like high 60s to mid 70s, I guess, be the usual temperature. But the thing is, the agricolae at those same temperatures are, I'm getting like a good split, even sometimes like slightly female heavy. So I don't know if it's a temperature thing necessarily, but yeah, Occidentalis, I had was it nine? Ended up with 9 clutches last season,
Wow. Wow.
and
That's
I
like
think it
Crested
was nine.
Gecko stuff.
Hold on, I'm just looking at the numbers around me. 7, 8, yeah, 9 clutches. And I mean, obviously not all the eggs, were good and stuff like that, but there's a total of 9 clutches, and I think I got 3 females.
Wow.
Um,
Out of all the clutches, 3
yep,
individuals out of 9 clutches.
yep. Obviously, a couple eggs went bad or whatever. I had one hatch. It was 2 bodies, 1 head. Well, it didn't hatch. I cut the egg after it started deflating. Yeah, 2 bodies, 1 head. And
That's
then I had
gnarly.
twins. I also had twins from them.
Really? That's crazy. Did they live? Did the twins live?
They made it like a month, and then
Nice.
yeah. The thing is, they were half the size. Like, it wasn't like the egg was any bigger. The babies are just half the size.
They're already tiny. The
Yeah,
smallest geckos I've ever seen are these damn Uris. This
I mean,
big.
I have stuff that's much smaller, so
Really?
I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, they were just really really tiny. I think it was about like 3 weeks that the second one passed.
What the hell could you hatch that's smaller than that, bro?
So like some of these sand geckos,
Really?
they
I
hatch out of
gotta
like a
see
Tic
them
Tac.
just to see them, dude.
I have a bunch of them.
I mean, in person one day. Not right now. You
Yeah,
don't gotta pull them. I mean,
yeah.
you
No,
could,
I was thinking if
obviously.
I had any that were like out, I could grab. It's probably too much hassle.
Yeah,
Um,
don't mess
yeah,
them.
they hatch out of like a Tic Tac sized egg. Um, and they're, you know, I don't know, half an inch, 3/4 of an inch at most, like nose to tail out the egg. Um,
Crazy.
and the thing is, like, also have like the like spherodactylus, which hatch out similar sized egg. The babies are just a little bit more like beefy, like there's a little bit more substance to them. Whereas like these sand geckos, like their toes and their legs are like they look like little threads. Like
Wow.
they're like really skinny looking. So they are like pretty fragile as like you know day one hatchlings.
One day you stopped over. You were on your way back from a show, and you had these. And I always forget the name of them, but I fell in love with these geckos you had.
Oh, the dune geckos, right?
Is
The
that what they are? They
stenodactyls.
had like these like big
Yeah,
heads and
yeah, yeah. And there was the one with the stubby tail.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That was the stenodactylus. That one I found in the parents' enclosure. They ate his tail.
Hmm.
That's why I don't like leaving the eggs, but they hatch better in the enclosure. But yeah, he basically hatched, and then I found him. 1 day old with no tail. They,
I am going
but
to, if this blocks off, don't mind me. We're still recording. I just want to bring your page up, your Instagram page. I want to.
yeah, there might be some stuff on there. Yeah, so the sand geckos are that one right there, the fourth video. That's the sand geckos that I'm talking about, the tropiocolotes. Um, yeah, if you want to play that, I don't know if the audio is a problem or anything like that for
I'm trying to. It's kind of
copyrights or
frozen.
anything, but there go my lights. 10 o'clock. Um,
Yeah, I don't know why it's not. I'm trying to get it to share. Can you
yeah,
see it now or no? Can you
yeah,
see
I
it?
see it. I see it. Yep.
Okay.
So yeah,
All right.
this is the
Well,
sand geckos. That's in actually like full speed, I think.
that's
So like
freaking cool. Yeah,
it's
I've seen
hunting.
geckos do this. Is awesome.
Yeah, it's hunting it's one of the
Guys,
rice
look at
flower
these
larvae.
things, man. How can you not love this shit? Look at these things.
And you're gonna see her when she spotted the little rice flower larva. Yeah, there it is.
Look at this. Now, what is this again, Chris?
So that one is a Tropiocolotes triplitanus. So the
Okay.
common name is like northern sand gecko or triply gecko.
And where
I
are
hate
these
I hate
guys
the common
from?
name sand gecko. There's so many of them. And
Yeah,
common name
yeah.
sand gecko. Um,
Where are they from?
so they're from North Africa. So
North
basically
Africa.
the
Okay.
entire Sahara.
Okay. Weren't you up
Um,
there? Didn't you go out there to go check some of this out recently? Weren't you out in Africa?
no, I was in South Africa.
South Africa.
Yeah, last year, like a year ago, a little over a year ago. Yeah, and then that other one next to it is the skinks, the little yellow striped skinks,
Are you
which are
breeding
pretty cool.
these? Are you producing
Trying
these
to,
now?
trying to. I have to look for eggs. They finished their quarantine,
Skinks
and
are like super communal though, bro. Like I know a lot of people that keep skinks and they just
yeah.
like
So
you could
this
just
guy,
leave the babies where the hell they are. I've lifted logs and found them out here in Connecticut. We have I
yeah,
don't know what it's called,
it's
but I
our only
found these
lizard.
crazy skinks with these blue stripes on them. I flipped the log over and there was like a big one, which is probably the mom, and like 10 babies right there.
Yeah, so these guys are pretty cool because they like it grabbed a cricket that's clearly too big for it, but it's just gonna smash it and break it apart and eat it. They're like little savages. They don't really,
That's
throw like
cool.
a half inch in there, it'll figure out a way to eat it.
So they are. These are small. I was looking at the size of the cricket.
Yeah,
These are small.
yeah.
These
That's
are
a quarter
adults.
inch. That's running around with a quarter inch. Yeah.
And that's an adult.
Yep. That's an adult.
Wow.
So these are pretty cool. Like
what draws you to these smaller species, Chris?
It's just the ability to house them properly.
Hey, who shout
there we
out?
go.
Monster
There we go.
Box. Yes,
There we go.
guys. Yes, you too can own yourself a Monster Box. Just head over to www.monsterbox.us. Check out our full lineup of PVC and acrylic enclosures and our rack systems. We pride ourselves in making affordable quality enclosures, guys. Check them out. Show us a little love. Show your animals a little love. And grab yourself some enclosures, man. We appreciate you guys. And again, Chris, thank you for the shout out and the love, man. You've always supported me, brother. Yep. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah,
for that.
I mean, these are great enclosures for little geckos.
Yeah,
like that. Yeah. It's a great size to grow out a lot of these geckos. Even if you're doing like crested geckos, you can grow out your babies in
babies. I do.
It's 8 by 12.
So I use. Yep, I put my babies in there until they're about 10-ish grams, and then I move them up to the 12 by 18s. But this is that's exactly how I start them.
Yeah, you don't have to do the 6 quarts. You can you can do enclosures.
Sure can. Are you going to plant this in this video? Do you plant this and build this
all
the way out?
This is just a review.
Okay, nice.
This is just a review of it.
Freaking awesome, dude. Love you for that. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, that was honestly, they're very, like, if anybody's looking for an affordable enclosure, they're actually really, really good enclosures. Like they the only other option that will compete with it is the Thrives.
Yeah, like, they've been getting a lot of love lately too, and we can't just compete with them. They're a big established company, and
they're dirt cheap, but they are less durable than the Monster Box. Like I have some that I've had for a while because I use it for growing out the Uris.
Yeah,
they start to like leak a little bit at the bottom, like that little plastic bottom piece. It does start to leak a little bit after, like, I've had some of these for like, a year or two, and like I have one right here next to me. The side is like peeling off a little bit. So like they're not, I think the Monster Boxes are a higher quality enclosure. You're paying a little bit more, for the size, but they're great enclosures. Like I have another one over here that I'm using for a quarantine to one of the Monster Boxes.
I appreciate you for that, Chris. I really do.
Yeah,
man. I really do. What are these all the same species? Are these Uris?
I'm trying to see on the thing. Yeah, I think those are both EAs.
Oh, you can't see. Can you?
I can't really see it.
Really? I'm sorry, dude. I got it blown up on my screen.
Yeah, am I able to click on here and see it bigger?
I don't know why you're not seeing it the way I'm seeing
it. It's on my phone, so it's also like really small.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like I can't.
So you want to see something funny? That the second video at the top, that's my best performing video, and it's making fun of poor husbandry, I guess. Hopefully,
which one? Which one?
The second video. It's
this one.
That one. Yep. That's the best performing video.
Active enclosure. Start with a natural substrate like organic paper towels. Next, make sure to add plenty of sticks and bark to increase the usable surface area of the enclosure. Now add some plastic plant cuttings to help maintain the humidity. Don't forget to add leaf litter for the cleanup crew. Last step at a background and you've completed your perfect bioactive build.
I love it.
Building the perfect bioactive enclosure.
That's awesome.
It's just funny that's the best performing video.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that one is the working with Mike to make some parts for the Thrives. So we have a screen lid and stackers for the Thrive enclosures.
But you're doing this with him?
Yeah. So he had the stackers, and then I had a screen lid already made.
Sweet.
And It was like, let me get the dimensions of your stackers. I'll make the lid work for your stackers.
Nice. Guys, if you don't know Mike over at Parkour Geckos, guys, please go check Mike out. Show him some love. Mike is another personal friend of ours, not just mine. He's also very good friends with Chris. Mike is one of the greatest human beings I've ever met, let alone in the reptile community. Mike is a incredible stand-up man. Mike has helped me in ways that people just don't do for people anymore, man. Mike is without being asked, Mike is one of them paragons, Mike is what we should thrive to be as humans, not just reptile keepers. Mike is a good man, and he's extremely talented. He's we'll get into some of this later with Chris also with this 3D stuff, but Mike is a visionary. Mike doesn't see problems but solutions, and great man. He offers a lot of cool products. He produces some fire animals, crested geckos. I have some of his fraps. I have some of his caps. Mike has sent me animals that I still stare at today, and my jaw drops. And I look at some of these animals Mike produced. And again, guys, go show him some love. Parkour Geckos, guys. Check him out. Show him some love. I don't know if he has a website yet, but you can buy a lot of his 3D printed stuff, including, I'm assuming, this stuff here from his Palm Street shop. Or Chris, reach out to Chris, our guest today at Jungle House, or Mike at Parkour Geckos. These guys, if you got a problem with your enclosure, something the industry has just seemingly forgotten to produce, these two probably make it, guys.
Yeah. If anyone hasn't checked out Parkour Geckos, I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably have. But if you haven't yet, go check them out. I love working with Mike, bouncing ideas off each other, coming up with solutions for different products and stuff like that. It's really helpful when there's someone that you can trust to,
yes, and
that not just steal your idea and run away with it. Someone that you can actually bounce ideas off of and work to,
that you
perfect
can.
a solution.
Stand up.
Yeah, I love any project I've worked on with Mike. Also, looking for crested geckos, he has some awesome stuff.
He sure does.
And then you two guys have traded some crazy stuff to each other, and some nice projects in the works.
Yeah, hell yeah. Parkour Geckos, guys. You will not regret it. You will not regret dealing with Parkour Geckos. I promise you, all the way around, from your simple inquiries to enclosure products, like I said, your feeding ledges, tops, stackers, locks. I mean, things you may not even have yet, but if you can think it up, Mike will actually work with you and help you find a solution. He's a good man, guys. One of those people that's worthy and worth supporting. This is ridiculous how small these animals are, dude.
Yep.
Guys, look at this little ear. This is what I'm talking about. This is, well, I guess that new gecko I got from you is probably smaller than this, or Emilio, you guys.
Govy.
Yeah, probably smaller than that, but that's still tiny.
So yeah, there's an egg I missed in the enclosure. I found them late, and I took it out and just started hatching in my hand.
And you're keeping springtails in your enclosures, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, springtails is almost more important than isopods, in my opinion, just because they're keeping all the mold down. If you're keeping humid species, the isopods are eating more heavy duty stuff, but
that was my next question.
The springtails are doing. Was that isopods also?
You're keeping the isopods also.
Yep. So that one's pretty funny. The first time
breeding.
To it.
I just don't know where part 1 is. I'm gonna find part 1 first.
There's a product with mics. Yeah.
Really, I need one of these. I need something to breed my superworms in. I got a lot of superworm beetles, and all these things I look at like this online are small like this. I need something big.
See, so I finally got the tiny ones to breed for me. The buffalo worms.
Really?
So the lesser mealworms.
Okay, yeah.
Those the I don't even know how to explain them. The you can get them at a Walmart or a Target or whatever. It's the little sterilite thing with the 3 drawers.
Okay. Yeah.
like the little like
Yep.
self-contained
Yep.
3 drawer
Yep.
system made of
Yep.
plastic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just cut out the bottom of one of those.
Put different
Put
size
a
screens
window
in.
screen. Put window screen in there, and then the eggs and stuff will fall down to the bottom one, and then it works.
No
Yeah.
shit. For
I
the
did it. I
on
just did a
top
mini
one,
version.
the beetles on the top one, the
Yep.
worms.
And then the worms fall into the bottom one, and then you can either sift it again, or when you have enough worms in the like the middle one, you can dump them into the bottom one, and then let the beetles drop more eggs into the middle one.
Guys, look, this is some of the stuff I was talking about, man. You go check out his pages and Chris's content. And this is, I'm a carpenter for a living, man, and I find this stuff amazing. Like,
Yeah,
just
it's
crazy cool stuff.
so yeah, some of these are like like 3 hours of video condensed into like a minute.
Sure.
So they're like they're hyperlapsed and then hyperlapsed again.
Sure.
Like I have to go like 8x speed and then another like 4 to 8x speed.
What
Just to
type
get.
of paint are you using here?
So that's dry lock
It
mixed
is.
with
Okay.
mixed with acrylic paint.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, this
then,
is so crazy. That looks so real.
yeah, some of them look a little better than others depending on how you dry brush it. Um, but yeah, it's just dry brushing the different layers to get like the effects.
You find you
Which is
get
also
better and better as you go?
yeah. I mean, you learn exactly how much paint you need, and then also if you're in a rush, you're gonna end up you know adding more paint than you want. If you take your time, you'll get like a nicer like effect. So you just take your time and go over it multiple times, lighter and lighter shades, and you get like the kind of like the shadows and the highlights.
What did you do with this enclosure?
That one, I think that one I might have over here.
Damn, I need that thing. Fudge. It's beautiful, bro.
Yeah, and then I mean also like for um like my style of keeping, and then also like for a beginner for like a bioactive enclosure, I'm not using like so it's real moss. It's not live moss though on the
No.
background. So a lot of people have trouble keeping moss alive. So
Me
you get
too.
you if you buy it, you buy a nice enclosure with real moss in it. You take it home, you put it in a different lighting. Your
It's a
humidity
bitch,
drops one
dude.
day, and it's brown.
Hell yeah. Moss and ferns. I can't keep alive for nothing. And I grow
Yeah,
crazy plants in my enclosures, man.
yeah.
Like, I
Moss I
cannot
struggle with
get moss or
in
ferns
this
to
room.
grow.
So the only enclosure that I have moss successfully growing in is one of the morning gecko enclosures.
Really?
And that's just because it's so humid in there. There's barely like the airflow is really restricted. It's super humid all the time. Um, minimal ventilation and stuff like that. So it keeps like it's almost set up like a dart frog setup where it's
Yeah.
like tons of humidity in there. Um, so that's the only one that I can keep moss alive in. And that one I just threw aquarium moss in. Like I had some Christmas moss from like a old shrimp tank. I just threw it in there, and it ended up growing. But yeah, like these ones, I let them dry out. Um, for the Uris, they do really well with like the big spike in humidity and then the drop.
Okay. Yeah.
So like that drop, moss doesn't like that. Um, so yeah, I don't do well with live moss in my enclosures either. Like this room is just way too hot and dry in general. Um, yeah, these are just some
How do you like this
random.
octagon number here?
The octagons, they're cool.
The
So
problem is just putting them somewhere. They can't put them next to each other, and that's what
so
pisses me off. Like, I think they're
yeah,
cool, but
so it's a display piece. So like if you're keeping 1 to 2 geckos, like they're 20 gallons, so like it's a decent sized
yeah,
enclosure.
they are.
Um, especially if you can find like a hexagon like stand for them, like one of those aquarium stands.
Sure.
I mean, throw that in your entryway. It's a fantastic,
Oh yeah. I see you
fantastic.
like these Syngoniums, man. You do well with them?
I love Syngoniums.
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
the Syngoniums. And then I like the Phytonias in the front, like the little nerve ones,
Yep.
like those little pinks, and they just added like a pop of color.
Great for color, yeah, for sure.
Then they generally do well. Some of them are finicky when you transplant them, but yeah, I love Syngoniums. Obviously pothos and philodendrons.
Sure,
Like
sure.
I try to use hardier plants that aren't going to die
Next
in
time you
general.
come
Like
up, dude, I got a whole bunch of cuttings for you, man. All types of monsteras and dude, I got so much shit, Chris. You
yeah,
can take. I gotta thin
the
these
next
pinks out,
video
bro.
the next video is breeding for the first time. If you want to see Yuri's trying to
Which
breed,
one? This one? This
over
part
two.
two. This one.
That one. Yeah, that's them breeding for the first time. They just met and they don't know what they're doing.
Hmm.
Like you'll see he's creative. But there you can see the difference in how colorful the male is compared to the female.
Sure, sure. They're kind of like
Um,
mine. What are these?
those are EAs, so agricolize. Um, so that male is like really nice, high pattern,
I'd be
and that
super
female.
confused, bro, because they look just like mine. Other than my girl got that big hump on her head, but I'd be extremely confused at what
Yep,
the difference was.
they can all get that hump on the back of that. It's like their fat slash calcium storage, whatever.
Well, if they
Um,
can and she doesn't, my
yeah,
girl's
see,
fat, then I'm overfeeding. Oh, he's getting busy with the tail. Okay.
yep. See, this is what I'm talking about. He's trying to figure out how to do this. Um, I just thought it was a funny video. He, I put them together, and they like this is what happened. Eventually, he figured it out. Um,
Can
he was struggling for a while.
can the females look like I didn't realize there was such a visual difference in the two.
So
Can
I mean, I have
the females generally not have this
so
banding and webbing of sorts? Are they always
that's
this
just a
like
really low pattern female.
okay. So
Yeah,
it's a her thing.
yeah. So I mean, she's my second agricoli that I bought. No, yeah, that's my second one. I think. So I bought her as a male, as a
Mhm.
baby, tiny male. Ended up being a female.
How are you sexing these things before you
Uh,
place them in homes? How do you sex an animal so damn small?
so with them is a little tricky because there's a
Yeah.
lot of females with pseudopores.
Okay.
Um, so I use like a macro lens
Can you
on.
explain real quick what a pseudopore is, Chris, for people that don't know
All right,
what
so
a girl's fake like a fake pore or pseudopore is?
I guess it's kind of hard to explain, but males in a lot of gecko species will have pores, which are it's like a band that goes like thigh to thigh, and the back legs that has basically little dots.
To
You'll see little
secrete a
dots.
pheromone, and mark places or they oil, if you will, but
Yep.
basically
So
oils that carry pheromones that they use actively to mark territories and do all types of things with, basically like all types of animals. Now the
yeah. So
females,
once they're mature, you can notice them. Pretty obviously, even if they don't have like a big bulge or anything to say it's a male. A lot of species will have like they're big and greasy. They look
so will it
oily.
develop a pore before it develops a bulge?
With them, yeah. Um,
Really?
so with agricoli, I can sex them pretty young.
Really?
Occidentalis, I struggle sometimes. I have some girls that they look like pores. They're clearly girls, but like they look
Pseudopores, yeah.
really similar to pores, other than
They
being
just
like
don't work, guys.
greasy.
They have pores that don't work, if that makes any sense. It's like
Yep.
males. We got nipples, but they don't do what girls do. So it's kind of the opposite with the geckos. The males' pores work, the girls don't. So it's tricky sometimes when you're trying to sex them. You'll look and you will see what appears to be a pore, but it's not a oil secreting working functional pore like on a male, and they look slightly different as far as just a little dimple in a scoot scale or whatever the hell you would call them, a vent scale, whatever the hell they're called, near their butts. They
Yeah, I'd say it's more of like a dent slash
yeah,
like a little tiny circle. Like
than an
the pores
actual
are like
pore.
big circles. Like they're a like decent size within each scale, and it's a noticeable like circle. Whereas like the pseudopores sometimes appear more as like dents, or like with the females sometimes that have pseudopores, it's more of like a circular cluster in the center, and it doesn't extend out towards the thighs. So they'll look like a bunch of little dots, but they're like concentrated to the middle. Whereas the males, if they have like that full band already, good chances a male. Like
They have just one row? Do they have one row of pores?
no, it's a few rows.
Oh, it is.
It's yeah, it's kind of like slightly like some of them are a little bit like almost diamond shaped. Um,
Really?
yes, I mean it depends on like the individual. Like some, but it's usually a couple bands of them.
Chris, where are you buying your plants from?
Uh, all sorts of places. A lot of them are from like Home Depot or Lowe's and stuff like that.
That's where I go.
Um,
But I was
you can
curious,
go
do
to
you have any procedures that you use before putting them in enclosure? Do you
this one.
wash
Watch
all the dirt off the roots and do all types of extra stuff, or do you just put them in there?
That's a baby flying. In that video, the baby jumps off the top of the
Oh, there he goes.
yeah that's a baby.
So they're communal then.
Yeah,
That's freaking
generally,
cool.
yeah. They're probably like other than like a parthenogenic gecko, they're probably the most communal species
What
that I
are
have.
these?
Those are the sand geckos from like that first video you showed.
Which one though?
The
Oh,
same
these
species.
these are the same ones from the first video that was waving its tail?
Yep.
No
Yep.
shit.
That's a
She looked a
baby in
lot
the parent's
oranger
enclosure.
than this girl. She looked a lot more like orange.
Yeah, it's good lighting. This one has like the incandescent bulb lighting on because like they're in the back of the enclosure. But that's a little baby. He saw a fruit fly and he threw himself. He got it, but he just threw himself. But that's size difference of like probably like a week or two old and an adult. But yeah, you were asking about the plants, like how to process them. So generally I will take the pot off, and then I will either if it's good temperatures go outside, spray the soil off with a hose.
Okay.
Depending on the type of plant, like so some plants will have like thicker roots, they can take a little more abuse. Whereas like you can kind of spray the whole thing off and they're fine.
Yeah.
Other stuff like those little nerve plants and stuff like that, the Phoetonias, they have really fine roots. So with them, you kind of want to just spray lightly, get a lot of bulk off, and then what I'll do is I'll get like a bucket of water and kind of basically like swish, like grab the stems and like swish it like in the water, so that like the motion of it moving through the water kind of removes more of the soil, and then gently like start separating them. A lot of times I'll break it down to like sometimes it'll be like 4 or 5 cuttings in a pot, and I want to put like 2 over here and 3 on the other side. So I'll split them off. And then with them, yeah, you have to be a little more delicate than some of the other stuff. But yeah, it's generally just like the fine root plants. You want to be more gentle. The syngoniums have like these thick, gnarly roots. You can, abuse them a lot more, and they're gonna bounce right back. Same with like a pothos or like a philodendron. Like those roots are like indestructible. You can tug on them, break them apart, and they bounce back immediately. But yeah, I try to remove all the soil. Generally, if you're buying from a big box store, not like a nursery, even a nursery, it can happen. But the big box stores generally will have what's it called? Like gnats or like sometimes you get slugs in the soil and stuff like that. All sorts of stuff you don't want to put in your tank. So I'd like to wash all the soil off before putting them in my enclosure. But yeah, that's basically how I process most of them. Is just that or cut. Like once you have the plant, take cuttings, throw them in some water, throw them in some moss.
Once you
like
get
some
going,
sphagnum
it's
moss,
easy.
they root pretty quick. Yeah, yeah. I usually have a bunch of just like I'll clean these up too when they get overgrown, and I have a couple cups in the kitchen window with the cuttings just sitting in like a cup of water.
Yeah. Once you live this lifestyle, guys, trust me, you keep we got all types of cups and cuttings for backup plants, man, because not everything lives, unfortunately. Some things die. You got to be ready to replant. You got to be ready to rebuild an enclosure in on the drop of a dime. So when you live like this, you're constantly taking cuttings and rooting things in the background, and you almost always have a mini nursery somewhere in the house.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times you set up an enclosure and one plant just didn't like the placement.
Guys, Chris made these. I use one right now, and these things are amazing. If you keep small stuff or breeding small stuff, man, check this out. These little setups are brilliant. Look at that little guy.
Yep.
What is that?
Throw a little morning gecko in there.
No
And
shit.
yep, all done. Yeah, super easy. So there's another one that I worked on with Mike. So I had an original version that was basically just for me, like, and then I had someone ask me because I would sell it with my morning geckos, and then someone's like, "You got extras?" So I started bringing them to the show. Mike saw it, and then he's like, asked me, can he send me what he's been working on? He liked the idea and stuff, and
That's
then
Mike right
we
here.
bounced back and forth, yeah, and came up with this one. So yeah, this is the two-sided. So you have a food bowl, a water bowl. A lot for me personally, like because I have a lot of little geckos in these cups and stuff. I just use the one-sided one. It's also a little bit less material and stuff like that. So it's for my personal use, a lot quicker and faster because I'm spraying everything already in this room. But if you're keeping any type of little gecko, highly suggest trying one out.
Hell yeah, I love them.
It makes it so much easier. A lot of these little geckos that eat, Pangea or Rapashi, whatever you're using, they're pretty quick, and you reach the bottom of the cup to place the food. It's shooting out the top of the cup, so this just lets you have it all at the top. Makes it a lot easier to care for them.
So what'd you do? Sell a bunch to Emilio or something? Exact that gecko, or did you build that cup for me? The one that you sent. That
I built that one.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. I was
Yeah.
gonna say,
So
had a very
all
crisp
right. So
touch to it.
yeah, your Bavaya, it came back in one of my. So I have all my stuff in like the small square cups, and it ended up getting packed in with mine, and then I was like, you asked for something cool from the show.
Hell yeah. I love that little guy. My girl loves it. The kids love it. Guys, look at this freaking enclosure, man. This is the shit I'm talking
that's for the Viper
about.
geckos.
What is this? A 10-gallon, Chris? What is this?
That's a 18, 12. I think it ends up being like 15 gallons or so.
Shit, that's beautiful. Beautiful work, man.
I like these desert setups. Like this is like why I keep most of desert species. Granted, the plants don't always last that long in these desert setups.
Really? Not even succulents? Well, are you spraying that much?
They do sometimes. The problem is like when they're like display breeding enclosures.
Yeah.
Once I know that they're laying kind of close to a plant,
I
don't like to water too much and drown the eggs.
Yeah. Okay.
Because like sometimes like some of these have like clay mixed in and stuff like that, so they don't like the water sits in like the lower layers of the soil sometimes. And I don't want to, some of these they're hard shelled eggs, a lot of them. So I don't, I worry that they rot the eggs out or something. I know most of the time they'd probably be fine, but I worry about it. So then sometimes I underwater and then, they look better.
How good you are building these freaking fake stones, dude. I like literally want to hire you to freaking rebuild all my enclosures, man. Oh my god.
Yeah, so with these desert ones too, I add like cement over the top of them. So
cool. Hell yeah. Heat. So would I. Hell yeah. Some thin set or something?
Yes, I just use I forgot what type of cement, and then basically I make grout. I grab some cement, throw a couple scoops of clay sand in it.
So damn cool.
Yeah, these are my favorite setups to build is the desert stuff. Unfortunately, it's not. Most people like the tropical stuff, but yeah, these are my favorite to do, personally.
Beautiful work, bro. Absolutely beautiful work. This just says part 1, 2, 3. Where?
Yeah, I don't even know. That's one. Yeah, this probably there. Which one's this?
So you're taking it apart.
So this is one that I have. I still have it. I have the Cordelis. So the forest armadillo lizards are in there.
Why are you taking this apart, dude?
Because so I had just one in there, and then I picked up a second one. They both ended up being males. So they are communal, but 2 males. I need to give them a little bit more hiding spots.
Sure.
So I took it apart to add more rocks, more hiding. They're like in these cork tubes like all day, running around in those cork tubes. Or on the rocks. Yeah, I basically took it apart, and built more rocks, added more cork tubes. The thing is, I really like that enclosure, so I was like,
Hell yeah.
let me upgrade it. And yeah, it's basically the mix that I put over them. So for them, they have like pretty. I mean, they're not crazy claws, but they do have some claws to them.
Yeah,
So for
yeah.
them, I also put cement over the rocks just so that gives them more grip and they don't rip apart the foam.
Sure, sure.
With the geckos, a lot of times, like the crested gecko isn't really going to tear apart insulation foam.
No.
You're fine without doing these extra steps and extra expenses of making your own grout or cement, and then
I would still do it just for the naturalistic feel of it. I would still do it.
Yeah, sometimes it loses a little bit of details to them, but just because like then you have to I can carve a really nice shape, and then I'm like, let me add like some grout to it, and then you kind of lose the shape and have to redo it, because it doesn't like contort all the stuff you've cut out. Yeah, it's basically just cement and sand to do that, and then that's it's just more rocks and more cork and stuff all in there.
Okay.
Yeah, that one was for the armadillo lizards, not the real ones, but yeah, the forest girdled lizards or whatever
No,
their
fig
common
tree.
name is.
I use all these
Yeah,
trees, parlor palms, the figs. I use it all. I love them.
yep, yeah. So this one I want. They're kind of like
Beautiful.
the edge of like savannas and forests and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like they're East African. So I kind of
beautiful.
wanted to not go too crazy tropical, but still have a little tropical vibe to it.
Can you propagate those fig trees?
Yeah.
No shit.
So I struggled with it like for a long time, and then they grow out the top of the screen. So I just
Yes,
cut
they
them,
do.
and
That's my problem.
I got I just planted 3 cuttings like this morning.
Nice. Are you using like a root hormone? Like a
No, I just threw them in like a little shot glass in the window,
what?
and the 3 cuttings ended up taking root. So the first few times I tried it, I didn't get any roots. The other thing you can try is like some wet sphagnum in like a deli cup with a lid,
Yeah,
kind of
so your
keep the
basic
humidity in.
propagation methods.
So this one is this one's for the binos. So if anybody's looking for a non-morning gecko parthenogenic, these are pretty cool. They're Australian desert parthenogenic gecko.
Oh, these are kind of popular. I hear about these a lot.
Yeah, they're cool.
I hear people love them. I hear about people that have them loving them.
Their pattern's super cool. Crazy texture to their skin. Like they're all like bumpy and stuff. They're not. You're not going to see them too often.
Hmm.
They're. I would say they're pretty nocturnal. And it takes a while for them to even, like, at least for me, it took a while for them to just like be comfortable just staying still when I accidentally pass by. They very quick to just scatter if I would walk by. But they're really cool. Beautiful colors on them. Really nice patterns and like texture to their skin. Like they're like tons of little bumps with like they're a reddish brown color. And they are parthenogenic. So this is the tank I use for them. It's just showing how to repair a broken tank also.
That's what that was. I was gonna say, what the hell was that?
Yep. Yep. It was a Facebook Marketplace tank. Had a crack in the bottom. Throw some silicone and a new piece of glass on it.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's a desert tank. It doesn't have to be perfectly sealed either. Like, obviously, I did seal it as best I could, but it didn't have to be perfect. It's not going to have tons of moisture in there.
Yeah.
And then there's just building same thing of layers of foam and stuff with like crevices and stuff to hide in. There's like those are like the setups I really like to do.
Where are you sourcing all of your wood and stuff, like all your bark and cork hollows and stuff?
Different places. There's some vendors I like to pick up from at shows.
Okay. Because it's expensive. That's a huge expense in itself. Some of the things I'm looking at in these closures, I'm like, you're spending $50, $60 just in wood and bark for an enclosure.
Yeah, some of these pieces are expensive. Generally, if it's like as long as you're not going up to like the 3 feet like cork or wood, like you're generally like okay, like you're not going that crazy. There's more of the sand geckos with the little tails and stuff. Yeah, so other than Yuri's, these are probably my favorite species to work with.
Oh, these are a super cool little gecko, dude.
Yep. So like they're pretty prolific too for only laying one egg at a time. I
There's a lot
produce
of
a shit ton of them.
cool species in India that do this tail thing.
Yeah, I mean I think it's like so. Even those skinks do the tail thing too.
Really?
Yeah, so like these guys wag it like behind them. The Stenodactylus do it also. The skinks wag it forward.
Really?
So the skinks make like a U shape and wiggle it like in front of their head.
What is it for? Is it like baiting? Some type of baiting?
I think so, or like a. So with these guys too, I think it's partly communication with each other.
Okay.
Because like sometimes one will be like tracking like a like a little fruit fly or something or a little worm. It's like tracking and tracking, and then there's another one that comes and kind of backs off because that one is wagging its tail. So I mean I think it's just like the that's just like a 3D printed and a glass cut enclosure I made.
What?
Yeah, I made that one just for fun.
Real glass?
Yeah, it's glass. The back is PVC board.
Dude.
But that's
You can
glass, and
make
then
these with like acrylic and PVC too.
yeah. So the frame is printed. The top is screened. Yeah, it's
Chris,
just for
that's
fun.
beautiful, bro.
That's it's a don't use it. It's a weird size. I made it 8 by 8 by 18, so it's like a mini skyscraper.
Why would you not use that?
I have it like downstairs in the basement.
Oh,
I
that's
had it set up as an
damn
emergency
cool.
tank. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Wow, I love it. That's damn cool.
Yeah, I
Well,
built it
here,
out and everything. I just have it as like an emergency tank.
that's
Um,
freaking awesome.
like if I need a tank, I'd grab it. I have used it once. Like I had to separate like one of the Uris for like a day. Um, so I just threw them in there and then.
Did you ever think about pre-making some like standardized size backs for enclosures and selling them at shows? Like 12 by 18
The thing,
background?
yeah, I mean the thing is it's so like not all enclosures are the same size.
Really?
Like yeah, so some are like they're all labeled like 12, 12, 18 or
Yeah,
18, 18, 24. Some of them are like truly like 12 by 12 by 18. Some are like the background has to be cut to like 11 and 3/4.
uh,
And then some are like, half an inch shorter but half an inch wider, but
sure,
they're like, 12, 12, 18 technically. Um, so yeah, like some of them you do end up with like slight variations.
sure.
So like you'd have to, even when you take it home, you'd have to cut it, and then it exposes the pink foam again.
Yeah. If you ever, I mean, we'll talk more about it later, but if you ever needed some money and felt compelled or bored and wanted to make me some for all my exoterras, I would pay you wonderfully to make me 10 or 12 backgrounds for all my glass exoterras, man. I would love to swap them out. I just got those stupid glued in. Damn, something went wrong. I just got those stupid glued in
They work.
cork
Those
boards. I
work.
buy cork and I just use the how you buy the cork panels?
Yep.
I just throw the cork panels on mine and it's kind of lame. I figured I'd justify it with all the fancy
work.
branches and cork and plants and whatnot, but these things are beautiful.
Yeah, I mean the cork works. It
Oh, look at
helps with
this
shedding,
picture.
helps with everything. Yes,
That's
3
a
little viper
hell of
geckos.
a picture.
Yeah, I think the one before it is like the baby sand geckos. It's all piled up
Beautiful
too.
picture.
Where
am I?
that one's the baby sand geckos. Yeah.
Wow, would you take this with your camera? Your
Yeah,
phone?
with my phone. Yep.
No,
Actually, with my old phone too. I think that's with my old phone.
beautiful work, bro.
Yeah, I'm good at taking photos and stuff. I'm not good about posting them.
I think that's the truth.
That's a male
So
Agricola.
that's what you're talking about. The yellow goes to the ear.
Yeah, and then you can see that one has like a bunch of like that reduced scalation in the armpits.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of what the some of the traits you'll see with the Yuri.
That's the end of your page?
Yeah, I don't have much
Oh,
on Instagram.
hell no, Chris. You better fix that, bro.
I
You
don't
do
have much.
too much cool shit to stop there.
So these are some really early ones. You can see the date too on these. These are like older. Like so there was like an entire year where I didn't post anything.
I bet. I know what you do. I know how busy you are.
So that
Like
one is actually right behind me too. That one is right here. Is this
that's
one?
cool.
So that's one of
can't
the first
see
ones
it.
I built for myself. Like I'm like I've gotten really good at this. Let me just go real crazy with like, you know, so yeah, that's one of the first ones I built that I'm like actually proud of is that one. I've switched pairs out of that one. I've reused that tank like 3-4 times.
Shit.
It's actually like one of my favorite designs. It's a cool tank. Um, yeah, on TikTok there's more stuff to see. It's just
Yeah.
it's Instagram's lacking a little bit.
What we're at see what happens. We're at an hour and a half. Any longer, we're not going to be able to upload this. What I want to talk about you and vending and shows. What determines in because you were at Tinley, Chris was at Tinley, guys. Huge opportunities.
Yes, I was
Awesome.
with a friend.
That's cool. You were still there.
I
You were still acknowledged and
didn't have
recognized
my own table, but yeah.
for you to be there. Your animals, your production, your work was there. And that says a lot. That's huge. However, that's not a normal thing for Chris, at least not yet. But you do go to a lot of shows, right? Walk us through your whole vending process, the shows you normally do, where you go, how you got into it, how often you're there, even some of your up and coming shows and what you plan on doing.
So nothing coming up soon, but I've been trying to do a lot of the like what would I say, like about like 3 hour range ish. Some are a little further, but like in this New England area, and then a little
But you
bit
go
into
down
Mid
to like
Atlantic.
Baltimore, right? Aren't you? Don't you
Yeah,
go down there?
yeah. So I mean, it's 3 hours. Um, yeah, 3 hours up, 3 hours down. I've done some further ones. Um, but yeah, I try to do some of the Northeast, Mid Atlantic, I guess area ish. We don't have that many shows up here anymore, sadly. The New England is pretty starved of
Sure is.
good stuff. Yeah. I mean, Connecticut doesn't have anything.
Just to say,
I don't.
Connecticut has none. No
Nope. We have
shows.
zero.
White Plains is my home show, and
Or
dealing with I
Springfield if they
ninety
do it
five
again.
disaster driving down I-95. I mean, I'll have geckos die of old age before I get there.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we live on the worst stretch of highway basically in the country.
Terrible.
Greenwich to Bridgeport 95. Yeah, we don't have anything in Connecticut, which kind of sucks. I don't know if it's like legal that we can't, or
Could be
like
one of the
because
reasons.
Connecticut has some weird laws too. So I don't know if technically you can. It's just gray area or something. I don't know. Would
But
be
you
cool
are
to find
doing
out.
like New Hampshire and Mass, right? You do New Hampshire
Yeah,
shows,
yeah,
Mass
yeah,
shows,
yeah.
Vermont,
So
anything in Vermont?
no, Vermont has nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, New England basically there's the New Hampshire show. Um, Massachusetts has Hanover, Mass, and then I think
No
they're doing
shit. I thought
Springfield
that was
again.
Pennsylvania. No shit.
Um, yeah, then I think Springfield would be the only other one. Might be missing one. But that's all we have left up in New England.
But you vend all of those, though, right? You vend just
Yeah,
about all of those shows?
yeah. Manchester and Hanover for sure.
Nice.
I have done Springfield. I didn't do the last one. It just
What do you think
conflicted
about
dates.
that all American Plant and Reptile
I
Expo?
I think I mean I did the one in
Oh,
Virginia.
you did?
Yeah, I went down.
Oh, I
Mike was
didn't
down
know
there
that.
too.
I heard they're
Yeah,
great shows.
yeah, we
What do you?
went down. Mike was there. It was a good show. I think they should bring one up here.
That
Uh,
right? That'd be
I think they
awesome.
should bring one up
From what
here.
I hear,
Definitely a busy show. Busy,
nice.
like good advertising.
They promote. That's huge with a reptile show, man.
There's people
Shows
through the
only give
door.
you. Yeah, that's huge.
It was definitely it's definitely the most expensive show I've done.
Okay.
Like
In what way?
expense wise.
Like
Well, it was
travel?
table cost, extra, like, it's 3 days. So it's like a Friday VIP, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
So extra hotel cost. The drive. It's, got to eat all those New Jersey tolls, which is, $30 each way. And that's just New Jersey. So yeah, like, it adds up pretty quick. Yeah, it's a good show though. It's a little scary at first, putting up all that money up front and then hoping you get a return. Um, but I mean, it worked out. It was looking a little slow after day one, and then day two, the random spurt of, like, stuff starts moving, and when it's moving, it's,
Sure.
kind of snowballs, and stuff is flying, and
Sure.
all of a sudden you're in the profit.
When you sell these rare species, do you find that you're normally selling them to people that have experience with them, or do you find that a lot of your customers are new keepers and new to the species? And if so, do you offer care cards or care sheets with these species?
So it depends. I mean, there's definitely some people that, like, with, like, Uris and stuff, someone's kept a crested gecko, you have 99% of the care down. Like, you can keep this thing alive for sure. So, like, there are some people that's, they're just starting, but they have a crested or a garg or something. Uris is really easy to, move right on over to.
Sure.
Because I mean, most people,
Very similar.
most people at shows have a crested.
Yeah,
That,
right.
Or they've had a leopard gecko, which is how the desert stuff works. The viper geckos, they're mini communal leopard geckos, is the easiest way to put it. They can take a little bit more heat, I would say. Obviously, they're smaller, but you can keep multiple in, you can have whatever it is, like 3 or 4 easily in the same space as one leopard gecko. It's, if you've kept a leopard gecko, you can keep one of them alive too. So some of it's kind of trying to explain with something more common that, like, that you've probably had experience with, and then explaining the differences. Like, you got to make a tweak here, tweak there, but it's not like completely different. Like, if you've kept, some arid species and stuff like that, some of these other geckos will work for you. You have an arid room already. You have 2 or 3 leopard geckos in that room already. It's already hot. You're going to do well with some of these other arid species. Obviously, the big difference is the food. The food is the big difference when they're so small. And then the hard part is getting some people to want to buy fruit flies or pinhead crickets.
It's a whole different world of feeding these things.
Yeah, so that's where the difficulty lies, I think. Also, I mean, I try to be pretty thorough in explaining their care as best as I can. Obviously, like, I don't have, unlimited time to go over it. Forever. But if you're legitimately interested, I'm more than willing to, go over all the care, as best as I can. Obviously, every home is different. You do have to take that stuff into consideration. So, like, if you're putting it next to, like, a sunny window, you don't have to go that high of a heat bulb. It's already getting some heat, like indirect heat from, the window and stuff like that. Or you put it near, like, an air vent or something. It has cold air blowing on it. You're probably gonna want to put a hotter lamp on it. So, like,
let's do your research, guys, because neither of us are promoting impulse buying. We're not saying that, but it happens. And as sellers, we need to be prepared for that. We need to assume that not everyone that comes to us to purchase something knows how to care for it. So in a perfect world, everyone that comes to us would have already done this research and be privy to how to take care of these species before we make a sale. But again, it doesn't always go that way. So as sellers, we need to make sure that we have all angles covered and we have the information ready to give to these potentially new keepers. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I would say most people have some experience generally. But I've also had like I must have been like 10, 11 years old. First reptile. He did all his research
That's awesome.
on Urodactylodes. He knew all about chameleon geckos.
That's cool.
His parents got him what he wanted.
That's
But
cool.
he was well informed. Like he did all his research. You know what I mean? Like he could tell me all about. So like
There's
I'm
nothing
not
like that, man. That's a great feeling, you know, when
not,
someone does all the
I'm
research
not
and then they
worried.
choose you to get the animal from. It's very rewarding, you know.
Yeah, like I don't have to worry. He's clearly over researched it. He knows everything inside and out at this point. Obviously, it's different having it than the research phase, but he was more well equipped than the average buyer to take a less common species home.
That's awesome.
So like you have stuff like that too. There's like his first gecko, but he's
done the
basically
research.
elementary
He's done the
school,
research.
but he
He's
did his
ready.
research.
He's turned himself into a seasoned keeper with just literature.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to see, and then like he knows what he's. I mean, hopefully, but he knows more or less what he's doing. He's not walking into it blind, and then it feels good too to sell to someone like that,
Sure.
regardless
sure.
of age, because
Sure.
like they're going to do their best to take care of
Sure.
your animal.
Hey, so with these crested geckos, I mean, it's no secret that lately people have been going crazy with lineage tracking and stuff like that. Is that a thing with the species you work with? Is lineage tracking a thing? Do you offer parent information with these animals when you sell them? Do you say like, hey, these sand geckos are from animal blah blah and they're from blah blah, or do you just
So the lineage is from the wild, and then from what group I put them in with some of them.
good for you?
So yeah, a lot of them, the parents are wild caught with a lot of these species. I have multiple groups, so I have obviously they're already unrelated in their group, coming from the wild, most likely.
So those pairs you have are wild caught pairs.
Oh yeah, a lot of the stuff I work
So
with
all
is
your
wild
animals
caught.
are first. Your babies are first generation. That's huge.
Yep,
I mean,
F1.
people wish they could get wild caught crested geckos. They wish they could put wild blood in. So you're talking fresh blood. This isn't some okay.
Yeah, with those little sand geckos, I'm
That's awesome.
probably at least like 50 to 60 F1s a year.
Shit.
And then I have a few F2s now.
That's huge. Is that the goal? What is the goal? And I didn't ask you this. I normally ask people in the beginning, and I don't mean it in an offensive, intrusive way. But what is your objective, and what do you as Jungle House want to contribute to this community? What's your goal? A lot of people come, and we all have our own personal desires and our things we want to take away from this hobby. But I often ask people, and I usually get good answers from the good ones. But what would you like to contribute to the reptile community with what you're doing? What are you trying to contribute?
So like a lot of these species, like I said earlier, like some of them are treated as like throwaways. Like they come in the imports, they're like they're sold for like $2 from like Egypt to the wholesaler. So the wholesaler's getting them at like $2. They're wholesaling them at like $10. No one really cares about them. Then they go to wild caught. They're selling them at the shows half dead for like $30. And they're honestly a fantastic species to keep. Like they are, they have good personalities.
Which ones are we talking about in particular?
Like so, for me, the Tropiocalotes tripolitanus I think are incredibly underrated. Honestly, stenodactylus, which is the one like the dune geckos that a lot of people are keeping. I think those are slightly overrated compared to the Tropiocalotes. Just because like I guess I can go into it. So the dune geckos, if you're keeping them correctly, generally they're going to be hiding. They're making burrows, tunnels. You're not really seeing them active as much. Whereas like the Tropiocalotes, they're hiding more on the surface or just under like a rock. They're more in the crevices and like kind of in the shadows lurking most of the day. If I throw food in at like 1 p.m., they're coming out to eat. The dune geckos, a lot of times, they're buried in the soil. If I throw food in at 1 p.m., maybe one will come out for food, or two. Like the rest of them are like buried in the hole sleeping. If you're keeping them at the right temperatures, a lot of people keep them really like a little bit cold, so they're like more on the surface. Um, if they're like kept warm enough, a lot of times they're spending the day burrowed. Like they build an underground city, which is really cool. They're really like doofy looking. They have like a little upturned like nose thing going on. Like I get the appeal of them. Um, I I think like as a nicer display, the tropicoides are a cooler display. They're smaller, but like I don't know, they have more like you can pick them up and like I'll hold them on my hand. They're just chilling on my hand, and they're 3 inches big as adults. They're would I walk around the house with them in my hand? Probably not. But you can pick them up and hold them, and they're not really like panicking or anything. Um, but like so with a lot of these species, it is to like you know be able to provide healthy captive bred animals, um, and then and kind of like you know take away some of that label of like is a disposable pet you got from like
Sure.
a flipper table.
Sure. That's
You
huge.
pay
You're
$30.
trying to be an ambassador of the species. You're trying to teach people and almost be an advocate for certain species that the hobby is clearly uneducated about. That's
Yeah, because a lot of times you'll see it on a table on like a flipper table, and it's like oh, $30. Cool, let's get like two of them. Oh, they both died. Oh well. Um, so and honestly, sometimes it's not even the person's fault. Is they just come in so bad like shape of like so. Also, if anybody's looking to start with wild caught, like getting them from like one of those like flipper tables, it not a good idea. If you're able to get it from like the actual importer or like a wholesale list or contact somebody that has access to wholesale and get it straight from the source, you have much better odds of keeping it alive. Um, and then also like intake process when you're dealing with wild caught stuff, you know, sanitary quarantine.
sure
Don't put it in
quarantine.
your main room. Also make sure everything's hydrated, and then and keep them hotter
Do you
than you think.
treat them with anything when you get in wild imports? Do you use
Some of
Panicure or any
these,
type of dewormer
there's
or
no way
anything?
to treat a,
That's what I'm saying.
a
So,
1 gram
how the
gecko.
hell do you do that?
So what I do is essentially, so the way I think about it is like we're warm blooded, so we can give ourselves a fever if we're sick, right? Like that's a fever is our body's response to being sick. With them, they can't create their own heat. So if they're sick, they need to have a higher temperature on the outside in order to pass like any illness. So what I do is I'll make especially with desert stuff, it's a lot easier than tropical. Um, Basically you create like a big rock stack like all the way up like whatever like it's I don't know like a 20-gallon enclosure for like 10 little geckos. Build the rock pile like 3/4 of the way up. Put like a really hot bulb on top, so it's like whatever I don't know, like 140 degrees at the top of that thing. Like it's scorching at the top. They're not hanging out there. The bottom of the enclosure is much like cooler temperature. But if they need to get up to let's say 120 to pass like some parasite, some illness that they have, they're able to go up to those higher levels of heat as they see fit to in order to essentially heal themselves. Is the way I go about like the intake process for wild caught stuff.
Nice.
Um, and then when I first get them too, it's hydrate. You need to absolutely hydrate them.
You doing that with bowls, soaking them, spraying them?
I put them in like a big Tupperware with a couple holes in it.
A little
For the
bit of
little
water.
guys, I'll put a paper towel down with some warm water, and I slide a heat mat under it, and just they get a steam bath for like 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes in the steamer. Basically, they're doing a little sauna. So even if they don't want to drink the standing water, like they're breathing in water droplets and stuff like
Sure,
that, they're
sure.
hydrating. And then after that, I'll put them into their quarantine enclosure.
How long do you keep them? Are you using a separate room? How long do you quarantine, and how do you quarantine? I got a million questions for you, Chris, but we do have to start winding down. But
Yeah.
I do want to hear that.
I noticed we went into a new topic, so I was like, oh man.
Dude, I'm telling you, this is like you were here. Like we just talked for hours. How do you quarantine them? Like, what's your procedure, and how long do
So
you keep them separate? Do you use separate feeding tongs? Do you tell me how you quarantine?
so they are my main quarantine area is outside this room. There's a like closet space. Um, so it's on like the other side of the wall. That's on the other side of the room. It's like a crawl like attic space kind of thing. But it's completely separated from this room. There's like two doors in between and everything. Um, and then so they're in there. It's nice because that room doesn't have AC, and like so I'm able to keep those temperatures higher there for quarantining like a lot of these desert species. And then minimum they'll stay there at least 3 months.
Well, that
At the
long?
at the very least 3 months.
No shit.
Um, last year, so last year's quarantine stuff stayed there almost a full year.
Wow.
They were breeding and stuff in there. I was just like, I just never brought them into this room. And then I got some new stuff in this year, and I was like, okay, emergency. I ordered, and I was like, oh shit, I got to get everything out of there. So I brought everything into this room and then set up the new enclosures in that room. But yeah, so I keep them at least 3 months. Like that'd be like the bare minimum is like
Have
three
you
months
ever
away from it.
experienced any issues? Have you ever experienced anything like
Uh,
that makes you glad you quarantined? Like, thank God, see, this is why I quarantined type of situation?
not not necessarily like why. I mean, I really really early on, yes. But that's with leopard geckos. Like,
Really?
well, yeah, I ended up with some that had, I guess they had crypto or
No
what looked to be
shit.
crypto. Yeah. That was like when I was first starting out, like really early on. I mean, I did completely isolate them. Like once I noticed, like so with those, that's a whole different story to get into. But like, um, essentially, I think switching uh bin raised leopard geckos to substrate stressed them out, and it triggered the crypto to like to start like attacking them essentially. But a lot of times it's dormant in them and they're fine. It's a stress factor that
But
kind of like,
there's a few different types of crypto,
yeah,
whatever the hell it's called, and apparently a lot of animals do. Just like you said, they carry it. They carry it. They have
and
it.
they're
It's
perfectly fine.
an uninvasive thing. It's kind of just one of those things that's there. Then there's other types. I mean, I don't want to start talking and trying to sound like I know anything, but I have read articles, and
Yeah.
they were pretty eye opening to what's actually happening. So.
So yeah, that was pretty early on. I saw that and then I was like, man, we're just gonna dive into this, going down this weird little gecko kind of rabbit hole.
Good for you.
'Cause,
So you're
like
not
the
keeping
original,
Leos anymore. You don't keep leopard
no,
geckos anymore?
no. I had like four, and I was going down that route just as a I guess the desire to also play with morphs a little bit.
Yeah.
And then that kind of like was slightly discouraging. So then I was like, well, we're gonna stick with this weird stuff.
Good
Um,
for you. Good for you.
and but yeah, with wild caught stuff quarantining, the only thing that like um, so you do have die off a lot of times from some of these animals over
Really.
stress from shipping and stuff. It's part of dealing with it, which is why also buy captive bred. Um, like so with the stenodactylus, if you buy whatever 10 and you get like 5 males and 5 females, I can guarantee you at least 3 of those males will die on you. 100% can guarantee it. Um, the males come in rough shape. Um, I have a theory that they're not as communal as people think.
You say any reason why?
My theory is that, so with the stenodactylus, people think like they're super, super communal. I think they have a much more complicated social structure. So essentially, you're just collecting these animals in the wild and picking up groups of them. You're taking like alpha males essentially, or like the head of like a colony, and you're putting them with the other head of another one, and they're all in like one bin.
Valid point. Mm-hmm.
So now you have a bunch of alphas just stressing the shit out of each other in this one little bin. So like honestly, the most success I've had is like when I split them off into smaller groups, and you put like a sub-adult male with an adult male, or like a juvenile male with an adult male. That male is perfectly fine. He's submissive to the adult, and he kind of grows up knowing his place in the colony. And a lot of times, because I've also had it where I've kept some males, and like the one male they won't kill each other. That's the one thing, is they're not going to kill each other, but the second male is forced to roam the cool side. Basically, he's like kicked out of the other male's kingdom. Mm-hmm. So like this is he's overlooking at the top of his rock pile. The other male has to go to the other side of the enclosure.
Sure.
So he's kind of just like outcast, and then he just roams the cool side.
Stress himself to death. Yeah.
Yep, basically just stressing to death, lack of food, lack of heat, just slowly stresses himself to death. And the thing is, it can happen pretty quickly too if you don't notice. That like what one's become like the dominant male, and the other one is kind of roaming the cool side. Yeah. But yeah, so you do have stuff like that. So that is an important reason to quarantine too. You don't know also like what diseases those males that are dying have with that species, but like, you know, a female could die just as easily as a male, but it's just with that species in particular, it's male that just dropped dead. But yeah, a lot of them, there's other times it's just, you know, random, you know, some comes in bad shape, stressed out. It's part of the whole thing. Also, like I'll buy, like the times I do get wild caught stuff, I'll usually buy extra animals just in case stuff like that happens. Make sure I have pairs. If it's like a project I'm seriously considering doing, you know, and I want to have 2 trios, so I need 6 animals. I'll buy 10. Make sure I have those numbers for the breeding project. Also, in case, you know, one of them dies, whatever, one of them comes in, you know, a little too rough shape, and then also like I'll sell the other ones once I've acclimated them.
Established.
Like, once like I see they look healthy, I'll offer them if someone else wants, you know, essentially in on trying to breed these. But it's also wild caught, so I'm very upfront with when an animal is wild caught. Like I'll tell you it's wild caught. I can't guarantee this is going to make it home on the drive home. I don't know how old it is. You know what I mean? I know it's been eating. I know it's you know, fattened up and everything, but this thing could be 7 years old already, and it's on its deathbed. I don't know, or it's 10 years old and it's on its deathbed.
It's all about being transparent. As long as the people know they're aware of it, and you're aware of it, then I mean, it kind of is what it is. It comes with the territory, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super upfront when something is captive versus wild caught, because also like that, it, you know, quite honestly justifies when I price something higher too.
Sure.
That like these are F1s, not F0s. These are F2s, not wild caught. So I'm fully transparent, because also too, like, you know, with like some of these sand geckos and stuff, I've gotten wild caught adult, you know, like for 2 years in a row, I've got to expand my gene pools also. So like I'll have one group, and then the next year I'm like, okay, these are established. Let me have a second group, be able to outcross with my own stuff, and then not have a genetic bottleneck down the line. So like, I don't have to look for more. I don't have to go back into the wild caught pool to have more like genetic diversity. Like I have several groups. I'm able to cross like my group 1s with my group 2s, and then the 3s with the 4s, and I'm able to. You know,
it's huge.
I mean, eventually might have to, but I mean, I think I have some of these species I have enough to last a while, and then hopefully there's someone to trade with down the line.
Sure.
And not have to dip back into the wild caught.
How is the community with these species? Do you have a lot of people that you stay in touch with that work with the same species? And
some of these is tough. Like so some of them there's not many people working with them. Like some of them it's like, you know, 2 or 3 people like Like there's more. There are more people, but like only like 2-3 people like actively like with an online presence, I guess, that are like, it's visible that they're working with it. Yeah, so like I'm sure there's, not hundreds, but like, a few dozen people doing good work with some of these species. They're just doing it in their basement and not, don't have a presence or don't have, they're not posting it online. They're just enjoying their species in peace.
Sure. That's their right. Shit. It's awesome.
So,
Good for them.
there are, I'm almost positive there definitely are a lot of people like that. But, yeah, some of these are you might only be 2-3 people like actively that you can find on Instagram or whatever, online, Facebook, whatever. They're, actively producing like a decent number, like not like a hobby number of like, oh, I have like 3 for sale.
Yeah.
It's like what I produce for the year. It's like, yeah, producing like 10, 20 animals a year at least. There's not many. Yeah, it's at some point there will hopefully be more people. I I found with some of these species too, like a lot of people like, they'll get a few to like try, like try the species, see if they like it and stuff. And then most people like with those little sand geckos especially, like they're like, those things are awesome.
Yeah.
They're exactly what you said they are. And like, sometimes they're, oh, do you have like any more for sale? Whatever, and they want to add more to their group while they wait, to start producing or whatever. Like they ended up with like 3 females, or do you have like a male or something? So that's kind of cool too when people come back and they're like, they actually are really cool. Because like also you can put them on your desk. They're small. They make a good desk pet essentially. Like, and it's not like I don't like the term desk pet, but like there's a few geckos that legitimately could be a desk pet, like 10-gallon enclosure or less kind of animals. Like, um, and they're one of the cool ones that you can keep, a little group of them in like essentially a 10-gallon footprint, but the shorter enclosure, like I think it's a 6-gallon.
Sure.
So it's same footprint as a 10 because they don't climb, like they're not climbing glass or anything. You can't give them like a little rock pile, but like same footprint. It's a 6-gallon with the sliding lid, like the little critter invert enclosure. That works really well for like a nice little trio, like 1.2, 1.3 of these little sand geckos.
That's cool.
You can throw that on your desk, and you can just watch them all day.
That's very cool. Very, very cool, actually.
The same as like some of the Spherodactylus.
So where can people get these from you, bro? Where's your next show? We're over 2 hours, so we'll have to. I mean, we'll get this down under it, but I do want people to know where and how they can get these from you. If you're at a show, not at a show, what shows you're doing, how do they get in contact with you? How do they add these species to their collections?
So, contact on Instagram. That's
the best way to get a hold of you. Instagram.
Instagram, JNGLHAU5.
I'll leave it. I already have it typed on the thing here, so you guys will see how to spell. He spells it different.
No vowels in jungle, and then a 5 instead of an S for Instagram.
What made you do that, by the way? How did you come up with that?
No vowels?
Yeah, what was...
Because I'm weird. Like I enjoy like logo design and stuff like that. So,
U isn't a vowel though. A-E-I-O. Oh, not in the first name. In jungle.
Yeah, JNGL.
All right, I was gonna say house. Yeah, obviously vowels.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, no vowels in jungle. Just aesthetically, I wanted the logo.
It's cool.
I wanted the logo to be the 4 letters and 4 letters kind of thing, and then it's within a box with the plants growing out of it. So it's an enclosure with plants growing out of it, and it fits into the tight little square kind of thing.
I love it. I just can never figure out how to spell
it. Yeah, and I get some weird stuff too because the vowels are missing. Like I'll get jingle or something like that too. It is what it is. I'm in too deep to change it now. So it's
I love it. Like I said, I think it's very creative. It's very, very cool, man. Very cool.
Yeah, it was more of an aesthetic thing too, just for the logo to look a certain way.
Love it.
I was like, it looks cool like this instead of having it like offset, like 6 letters, 4 letters or whatever. Like, nope, 4 and 4. It works well. Works perfect.
For you.
But yeah, so on Instagram you can reach out there. On Morph Market.
So you are selling on Morph Market.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have stuff on listed on Morph Market right now. I mean, I should probably list more of the sand geckos. I do have more. I do have a sex trio, I believe, like almost ready to breed. If anybody is interested, I have a
But you
bunch of the
vend
Yuris are
too,
listed there.
right? Don't you got to kind of play that? So I can keep going and going and going, asking about this too. But you have to kind of keep a certain amount for your shows, right? Or do you just put it
Yep.
on Morph Market? If it goes, whatever. And if
I
it's not
mean,
someone to the
this
show
part
with
of the
you, do you
year,
have
I don't have
designated
anything.
animals for shows versus Palm Street, Morph Market?
So I mean, Palm Street sucks for weird geckos. It's shit for weird geckos. If not crescent geckos, Palm Street sucks. I'm gonna be honest about it. I have a good time on there
That'll
though.
change. That'll change,
I have a
Chris.
good time on Palm Street. I usually go on shoot the shit with Mike.
Yeah.
Like, but like for selling weird geckos, it's kind of hard. The Yuri you might be able to, but then you also have to heavily discount them. And I'd rather not do that.
Good for you.
Uh, so yeah, but yeah, right now on Morph Market, there's a ton of Yuris. Um, I'll probably list up some of those sand geckos because I do have a bunch of them. And yeah, I mean it depends. If there's a bunch of shows or like different things, I'll won't list on Morph Market. Right now in the summer, there's not much, so I've thrown a bunch of stuff up on there. In case anybody's interested or looking for anything during like the slower season, I guess. You can find stuff on there because I've it's baby hatching season. I have tons of stuff on the way. Uh, multiple babies hatching every day at this point. So
How old do you wait for those things, those tiny little guys? How old? When is it okay to sell them? When are you like, this is ready to go?
like Yuri's, I try to wait like 2 months at least, like 2.5 months. Um, at that point, like generally they're like a decent size where I feel comfortable. Some of them I wait longer. Sometimes it's 3 months. It just depends on how they grow. Some of the little guys. Sometimes it's like they're like 5 months old, 6 months old. They're like half grown at that point. Um, and at that point, I've fed them a million times,
Yeah.
like a bunch of tiny fruit flies. So like it ends up being a labor of love to raise them, like to a size where someone feels comfortable buying them.
Of course.
Uh,
So it's a level of responsibility too with that. You're establishing them for people that may not be able to. You're selling good, sound animals. It's should be a
well,
standard, but
yeah, and I mean also like it's part of like guaranteeing someone that you're getting a good animal. Like this is an F1. Like this is captive bred. This is like a quality animal, and it's it's half grown at this point too. I've done a lot of the work for you. You have a few more months, and basically they're going to be close to ready to breed, and another half a year, you're probably going to get eggs too. Um, so like they it's I don't know. It with the small species, you do have to like basically hold them longer, which kind of it it's the ethical thing to do, but also like kind of sucks when like someone with a crested gecko that thing's like a month old and it's on the table. Um, just because of the size difference too. Like you're able to kind of like create space and stuff like that. Whereas like some of these stuff like I'm feeding it for months on end to get it to a reasonable size too, especially when I have a lot of them. Uh, like the hard part is making sure I have enough fruit flies to go around when it's heavy in the baby season.
which you're doing that too. You make your own colonies. Which, guys, again, I hate to break it to you, we're on a schedule. Chris will be back. We're going to do a Yuri episode. We'll dabble into the feeders. Chris raises all these micro feeders himself. I mean, Chris got a lot going on, dude. And when I tell you, I've spent hours and hours and hours with Chris in person. We never run out of shit to talk about. Like there is a lot of things we didn't get into today, and we will. I promise you, I will have him back. But yeah, keep going. So about the feeders.
Yes, I mean like sometimes it is stressful having to feed some of these animals for that long, especially when more and more babies are coming. and you do have to
When they're
hold them.
full grown, what's the biggest thing they can take when those little guys are full size? You don't have to feed them. You're keeping fruit flies. You're raising fruit flies just for the babies, right? Or does anything
Uh,
need that into adulthood?
so I still feed the adults fruit flies too.
No shit.
They'll get other stuff though, because it's not like a. I feel like there's not enough nutrients in it to make it a staple. So like I don't breed crickets, and getting pinheads is a pain in the ass. They all come half dead.
Sure
Um,
do.
it's not worth the headache of, ordering 1,000, ordering 2,000, you get like 500, then they reship them to you. If you're depending on that, it's not feasible.
I started breeding them again just for that gecko I got from you. I'm like, dude, I can't buy them. I got to just breed them. I just took a little thing. I made a little lay box for the crickets in my big feeder bin, and I just been hatching them and feeding them to them as they come out.
Yeah, so the fruit flies is kind of the staple I use for a lot of things, but then I also have like the rice flour.
So you got all those beetles, crazy little
Yeah, rice
beetles and
flour
worms
beetles,
and stuff.
which are just a pain in the ass to sift out, but got to do what you got to do to feed
For
tiny
sure.
micro worms. Bean beetles, the lesser mealworms, the buffalo worms. But yeah, as adults, they can take like a smaller, depending where you source your crickets, like essentially a 1/4 inch cricket. I mean, like I wouldn't feed that every single day. It's a big meal.
Yeah.
If they end up with one of the bigger crickets accidentally, it's a pretty large meal. They'll figure out how to get it down, but I'd say like 1/8 inch is probably where you want to be at, really.
For an adult.
For an adult, yeah, for an adult. Babies is like pinheads. 10 days or something like that, maybe. That they'll take eventually with those. You can get them onto like the little the rice flour larvas.
Mm-hmm.
Those are good because they're such tiny little worms. It's just sifting them out of the flour that's a pain in the ass. Like
Yeah, unfortunately,
it's just sifting flour, and then like I have 3D print like different like sifters and stuff, but it's still like putting it through like 3 or 4 times through different sifters and like trying to remove as much flour. So I'm not just throwing flour into the sand, and trying to not get all the beetles, because the beetles just like wreak havoc in there. They don't eat them. They just roam around the enclosure, the tub forever. Yeah, so like you do have to have a steady supply of random little feeders.
It's a job in itself.
So I do suggest if you are like interested in some of these smaller geckos, also learn how to make fruit fly cultures or find access to a source of fruit fly as just like the absolute backup. Like if you want to feed pinheads, feed pinheads, but I having the skill set to make a fruit fly culture is kind of important just as a backup. It's you order crickets, they come half dead. What are you feeding?
Absolutely, that would suck. It sucks to depend on that and then have nothing. If you don't have a local pet store that sells them, because I mean, all the big box stores don't usually always sell those little, pinheads or any other smaller feeder. But
well, yeah, that's why I had to get. I mean, there's tons of other little roaches and stuff like that. I'm not big on roaches, or like the fire brats and all those other weird stuff.
Yeah.
I try to avoid roaches. So I basically have most of the other stuff that's not roach. And a lot of it's easy too because you just put it in, bean beetles. You get some black eyed peas and throw some beetles in there. They're gonna breed on that. Just takes like 6 weeks to get them. But they don't need water. They honestly, I've had them in a container with no air, and they still came out. Like it was, I ended up buying like a new culture. So I didn't notice they hadn't poked a hole in it, and there was no air in there. And I was like, wait, yeah, they're still fine. I switched the lid after, but I was like, they came out of the beans fine with no air. I just have them with coffee filters and like plastic cups. The rice flour stuff too is pretty easy. Throw some beetles on some flour.
Where do you
look
get
up different
those? Do
mixes.
you sell them? This is going to be a 4.5 hour podcast, guys. It is what it is, man. Grab your coffee. We're fucking running it. Fuck it, man. Fuck work. Fuck it all. We're just staying up all night. So where do you get these feeders from?
So some of them like I got like from shows and stuff. Other people that have them, like some people have them for like dart frogs or other animals that need small feeders, and then just culture them yourself at home. Uh, like Josh's Frog sells a bunch of these too as
Oh,
like
they
a
do. Okay.
yeah. If they're in stock, sometimes stuff is in stock, but check and get a starter culture, and then you can propagate it yourself after that. Like most of these ingredients, go to like supermarket and just buy it. Like the bean beetles aren't rocket science. Get a plastic cup, put a coffee filter in it, and put some black eyed peas in it, and then throw another coffee filter over the top. It works. Or grab a cardboard tube, throw the cardboard tube in the black eyed peas, throw a coffee filter over the top. You don't have to get the deli cups. Like you don't have to spend money on for some of these. Like you can get the nice like fruit fly cups and stuff and use those for other feeders, but you can also just do it in a plastic cup. Like you don't have to go crazy. I'll use a clear
Or
cup. Use a
something.
clear cup, but other than that, like you know, any cup works basically. Any container works.
How are you doing your fruit fly cultures?
So fruit flies, I make my own mix. So like I'd say I'm probably not getting as good of a result as like if you're using like the pre-made media. But I'm doing a lot of cultures, so I still have enough volume to feed with. But it's also a fraction of the cost. I'm just using like kitchen scrap, like fruit, like in vegetables. And then that gets blended up with some like apple cider vinegar, mixed into some potato flakes, some mashed potato flakes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and am I missing something? I'm trying to think now. And basically, that adds some water and stuff to get the right consistency, and just throw it in. Same thing. Throw it in a cup. Put some coffee filters in the thing. Throw a coffee filter on top. Put a rubber band on it, and it works perfectly fine. But yeah, like it'll be like bananas, apples, whatever, like a pepper, whatever's about to go bad. Get or like whatever, like like the stalk of something, or like the skin of something else, whatever, like kitchen vegetables and fruit. Just throw that into a blender. You're growing maggots, is what you're doing fruit flies. You're growing maggots. Um, obviously, like it's like I like to use a lot of like real fruits and vegetables and stuff because I feel like it has good nutrient profiles, especially when you use different stuff.
Sure.
And you're just gonna throw it away, like throw it out anyway. So might
Mm-hmm.
as well put it to use. Um, so like I basically mix that stuff in with then mashed potato flakes, and it does the trick. But yeah, I try to make sure there's a variety of fruits and vegetables that are getting mixed.
Well, it's gonna wind up in your animal. So the better the mash, the better
Yeah,
the more the nutrients, the better the feeder. I mean,
yeah, I'm not sure how much of it translates into them. Like, there's not much to a fruit fly. I'd
yeah,
like to know how much transfers from the media into like the actual fruit fly.
actual bug. Yeah,
Yeah, it'd be a good study.
sure.
But yeah, so I just make my own mix, and it's like
It saves you money, man. For the money you spend on cultures, I mean, if you're feeding these things, guys, and you need them on hand, this is a great way to do it. I don't know what fruit flies cost. I'm
I mean,
terrible at
if you're
looking at
buying them,
prices of
probably like
things when I buy.
$10, 10 to. I mean, some people might get you at $15 or something because it's the only place that has them. But I'd say
Sure.
about $10 a cup if you're buying them made already. If you're making your own, you can also buy the fruit fly cups and buy the mix, and that you just add hot water and everything, and then you buy the what's it, the Excelsior, like the little aspen string or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Is that a must? Do you have to use that, or can you use other stuff?
no, I use coffee filter.
For those too, for the fruit flies too.
Yeah, just
Oh
stick
sure.
like 2 3 coffee filters into the mash. Um, every once in a while it doesn't go to plan. Like the filters kind of get too many fruit flies on them, and they kind of
Really?
like sink into the mash.
Okay. Well, I
Uh,
figured they would suck the moisture out of it and get nasty, get moldy or
no.
something.
I mean, I've only really had molding issues like when there was like the big heat spike.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I had to lower everything like a shelf down, just to get closer to the ground, less heat. But yeah, I had like 2 weeks worth of cups just get all moldy and nasty. So that was a little bit stressful. For like that 1 week period of I have to stretch all these feeders out. Like the
Yeah.
old cultures have to stretch out, and then like stealing from the new ones as they're just starting. Um, but yeah, I mean, honestly, it does well. If all the filters like kind of sink into the media, I kind of just add one more at the top, so they can climb back out and not be sitting in the media. Um, Generally they work fine though. It's just every once in a while that like you know it doesn't work as intended.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's life. Life in a nutshell, right? Doesn't always go the way we
Yeah,
plan.
yeah. Sometimes you got to improvise.
uh, all right, brother. Let's close this down here. What give me your see you later elevator pitch, man. Where everyone can find you, where they can buy your animals, the best way to reach you, upcoming shows, any shout outs, the stage is yours. Anyone you want to thank, give credit to, suggest people follow, like Mike, stage is yours.
Yeah, yeah. So
Close this out.
you follow me on Instagram or TikTok. Um, then
And I'll link all
and
those too, guys. In the
yeah.
show
So
notes, I'll put all of
you can
his.
shoot me a message on either one of those. Check out on Palm. I'm usually hanging out with Mike. Well, if he's on live, I'm usually in the chat, talking in there too. Or if I'm on, I usually hit up Mike to, oh, you free to hop on, so that way we can just back and forth while I'm showing. Well, usually just showing geckos, not selling them. But yeah, you can check me out on Palm. I show off some of the 3D printed stuff on there too. Uh,
Are you selling that? Where can people buy that from you? Because
the
guys, like
3D
I said,
printed stuff.
those cups and stuff, man. I use all of that. That's my guy. All my stackers, all my everything. This is the man I get them from, guys. So I
Yeah,
know a lot of you guys ask where I get those stackers from for the cages. Unfortunately, for Monster Box, it's not our design. We couldn't, figure out something as of yet. But this is the man that makes them. This is the man that has them. This is the man I go to, and I'm a quarter owner of the company, and I go to Chris for him. So
yeah,
again, this is your 3D printed man for everything, and Mike, Chris, and Mike.
yeah. So those are on Palm Street. Also, I have a website. I have to update it, but some of the stuff
What do
is
you
on
do?
there. Yeah, JNGLHAU5.com.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's stuff is there. I'm not the best at updating it, but you can, shoot me a message on there, or like custom enclosure stuff like that. You can ask questions on there too. Uh, and then I guess shout out to Mike too. Check out his 3D printed stuff. Check out Monster Bot. Also hit
Appreciate
up Anthony for animals. He doesn't like to sell stuff. He doesn't advertise what he's got. He has just heat in that room. Just all new cow species. Like shoot him a message. He doesn't like to sell, guys. Shoot him a message. He's hiding the good stuff in that room.
you. Yeah, damn sure am.
He has every new cow species in that room besides the trackies and stuff like that. The crazy stuff. He has all the other species in that room. All the other species are in that room. Hit him up. He has cool stuff. He doesn't like to show it off. Just ask for it and then he'll show you. And I'm assuming he'll give you a good deal. But yeah, he has fantastic stuff in there. So hit up Anthony too for cresteds, Chihuahua, lychees. I think you still have Sarahs. You have a ton of Sarahs. I don't know if he
Sure
still has
do.
any hybrids. He had some cool hybrids. Those things were sick.
Might have a couple of those things hiding around too.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, hit him up too. And
I
yeah,
appreciate
that's
that,
about it.
Chris. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
I know
But
you
again,
don't
we're
like to
not here
advertise
for
your
me.
stuff,
We're
but you
here
have
for
good stuff.
Chris, man. Chris is a good dude. I wish you posted more than you do, and that's something that me and you will talk about. But you're You got a lot going for you. You got a lot going for you. The enclosures, the everything. I mean, this man does a lot behind the scenes, guys. He's Chris is that guy, man. He's one of those guys you really want in your corner, man. And support him. Support him. Check out all these things I'm talking about. Everything he produces, all the 3D stuff. I use, and I love, man. Him and Mike got a really cool thing going on. And if you haven't checked out one of their Palm Streets, again, it's an experience. You're not going there to necessarily buy stuff, and you can. Mike has heat. Chris has cool, unique, amazing animals that'll open your eyes and expose you to a world you probably didn't know existed. But their Palm Streets together, collectively, these two put on a hell of a show, man. It's fun, it's educational, it's there's never a dull moment. It's
Sometimes some hot
great
takes.
conversations going on with the audience and them. It's a very cool experience, guys. So if you haven't and you see them, follow them both on Palm Street, check them both out, join the show, hop in and see, and I'll take the thank yous later. I promise. You won't regret it. Is that all you got? Any shows coming up? Anything?
Nothing in the next couple months, I don't think. I'm waiting to hear back on.
Cool. It's hot. It's not necessarily the best for shipping and buying.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
having
there's
animals
nothing really
around.
worth doing in the summer. I was just up at Rexpo last week.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah, went up to Rochester. Yeah.
No shit. Okay.
Yeah, we were up there last week. Now that's the only summer show worth doing in this area.
Did you vend? Were you vending?
Yeah.
No shit. Who'd you do that with? Did you go up with anybody?
I had a table. I invited Emilio up.
No, he went with you. He went?
Yeah, he came up. He brought up a couple things. Yeah. Yeah, it was it's a good show. It's honestly, if you're in upstate New York,
yeah,
that's your show. That's the show to go.
You know my boy Nick? Do you know Nick from HKD Gecko?
Yeah, I
Geckos?
I went by his table to check some of them
Nick's
out.
the man, dude. Nick is one of the coolest jokers you'll ever meet, man. Nick is a cool dude.
Yeah, I mean everyone talks about the geckos, so I had to his stuff.
He does. Yeah, he produces.
I had to check them in person. I had to see them in person. They are nice. They're nice.
Yeah,
guys.
he's overall. I mean, yes, he does produce incredible animals. No offense, Nick. A lot of people do, but he's a good guy. Nick's a good dude, man. He's a solid stand up. I don't know how to explain it, man. He just knows how to talk to people. He's just a outgoing, great dude.
Yeah, I talked to him for a little while. Obviously, I'm not in the market for a crested gecko. I was there to look at, see. A lot of people talk about the smoke show kids. I want to see them in person.
And again, guys, not for nothing, sign up for the Gold Standard freaking Gecko Club. That's the shit it does. It'll have, even if you lose, let alone win, your geckos being in that competition will have people that don't keep crested geckos looking and checking out who the hell you are. It's exposure. For $25, $30, whatever the entry fee is, and entering an animal, and maybe $30 sending your animal to someone if you're not going to the show, is so worth the exposure you get from signing up for the Gold Standard Gecko Club. Entering the Gold Standard Gecko Club, guys. Again, David from Tiki's Geckos is not doing it for him. He's not trying to get rich. He's trying to give us a foundation and a base and a hobby, man, and eventually expand to all these species that we keep, man. And guys, if you can make it happen, or if I can help you make it happen, sign up for the freaking Gold Standard Gecko Club, and you too will have people that don't keep crested geckos coming and checking your stuff out at the table. Here's a perfect example. That is beautiful.
Exactly. Yeah,
very cool, man. Very cool.
Had to see him in person.
Very cool.
I've been up there before. I just never,
Nick always made. Nick has always made incredible animals. Yeah, now he went into this Gold Standard Gecko Club, won, and now literally everybody is like, Nick Dodge, Nick Dodge, Nick Dodge, Nick Dodge, HKD Geckos, which is great for him, God bless, but like I said, he's always made cool shit,
Yeah, it just brings the spotlight to you.
No, sure does, sure does. And he's doing all types of other species now, leopard geckos, gargoyle geckos. I'm sure Yuri's will be thrown up in there soon.
The competition still isn't that important to me yet, but hopefully Yuri's will get in there. Hopefully Yuri's will get in there at some point.
Sure. It's the thing is too, dude, is it's not necessarily, and it is a competition, and I think that word is being misconstrued is like a macho thing, if you will, and it's not. It's more to keep the industry honest, right? It's designed to keep people breeding for the greater good, not necessarily a competition. That's just a prize. That's a an incentive, if you will. But it's really like dogs, which you're into, and horses and livestock. It gives us a set of guidelines to follow for the greater good in the future of the hobby. A lot of these species, and some I'd imagine that you keep, will eventually no longer be imported. They're going to eventually get hip to what we're doing to our planet and our ecosystem, and countries one by one are going to fall in line and stop exporting their animals and importing for that matter. So we need to take special attention and care of the animals we have.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
my that's my
yeah,
ride.
definitely important too, like with the keeping a certain standard before we go too far in a certain direction.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely,
obviously
absolutely.
with dogs, some people might think they've gone too far or something, but at some point we're gonna end up with, if you don't keep a standard, pug-faced crested geckos with no nose
Absolutely. That's
and
one of the things they
eyes
breed them
shooting
for
out of
too.
their
It's one
head.
of the things, yeah. That's one of the categories too. It's like head structure and face structure because it's easy. It's easy to produce terrible structured geckos, man. It really is. And like, oh, this thing's got great color. Wow. But dude, he's all jacked up, man. He got no crest, a short head, bulging eyes, like a short fat tail. Like he looks like a grown dwarf. It's like it's just not okay. That shouldn't be acceptable. And then now that animal goes and breeds because it had cool color. And now we pass whatever these weird traits are off to another animal. And then, you need to stay in line with something. And David has taken the initiative to give up, not even him. He put together a group of people that have been doing this for these geckos specifically for 15, 20 years. So it's not like it's just David saying, this is my idea of a good gecko. He built a commission, if you will, of people that have been around for a long time that said, okay, this is what should be acceptable and what's not acceptable. And like David had mentioned on the podcast that we just did, the Gold Standard Gecko Club podcast, is that we do get carried away and breed some of these animals for ourselves. However, the ultimate goal for these animals is to place them in homes as pets. These animals are ultimately pets. We're working in an industry of pets, future pets. We want people to have these things and have them for a long time. We don't want to breed these things so far away from their natural standard that they make it into a home for 2-3 weeks and they die when the wild version is living for 30, 40 years. If ours are dying in captivity in 5 years because we decided to make them look a certain way, that's shame on us. It's happening now with bearded dragons, unfortunately. I hate to say it. I have a huge passion, which a lot of people don't know, for bearded dragons. A lot of these genes, these translucents, these animals that we're producing, leatherbacks, and they're dying. They're dying in ridiculously young ages of old age at 5 years old. That's not cool. That's not okay. That's from overbreeding and improper breeding. So what David has done is taking the initiative to keep us, he's helping us dodge a bullet, and he needs our help getting on board and promoting and getting ourselves involved in doing this. So again, check that episode out too. It's live, went live, we recorded live, so it's already on YouTube. It'll be up on iTunes and Amazon and iHeart and all that this Sunday. I'll post it up there. So if you guys listen and don't watch, it'll be there for you. Appreciate the support and love. And again, let's follow Chris, support Chris. Check this episode out. And reach out to him too. If you guys have questions or any type of interest or curiosity on anything in the species we talked about and showed, reach out. Chris loves to talk and teach about the things he's working with. He's super passionate. He's good at what he does, and I'm sure he would love to help you guys. So if you have any questions about any of the species we talked about, reach out to him. And for all my NewCal family, he makes some of the coolest Yuris, man, you guys will ever imagine, and I'm sure he's more than willing to help with that too if you are not experienced with them. And again, let's all give Chris a huge thank you for giving us his time his knowledge, his input, and just flat out being here with us, man. You know, he's here for us. You know, again, this episode will be on the interwebs for eternity. So thank you, Chris. I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming by.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely need you back for another episode. Like I said, I've never done a straight up Yuri episode, and I keep them personally. So there is a little personal thing there. I have a lot of questions, and you know, I think a lot of other people do too. You know, and not everybody keeps all you know, not all, but multiple species. So we can compare and contrast a lot and maybe help you guys figure out which species you want. So stay tuned. We will do that, and I'll keep you guys posted as to when that's coming. And
that's actually the most common question I get DM too. Which one do I?
Exactly. Really? So people are buying them and don't know.
Well, they question them. So they'll buy them from someone and then be like, I noticed a little difference than like some of the references. So like I'll get a lot of times it's like a double check, kind of like, can you just check if is this what it is? Like,
No, sure.
And yeah, it is actually one of the more common ones. But yeah,
Let's
so we can definitely do a episode on that.
So stay tuned, guys. There's a lot. That's a lot. That's a whole nother conversation. I got questions that'll go another 3-hour podcast on that one alone, guys. So stay tuned, stay hip, like, subscribe. Again, we're on all platforms now: iTunes, iHeart, Amazon Music, YouTube, obviously, Spotify. Grab your headphones, get your gecko on. Peace out. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Again, thank you so much for stopping by, liking, sharing, subscribing, and being good people, man. I appreciate you all. Later, guys. Chris, stay with me. Don't hang up yet.
Yeah.